What's up, movie lovers? Welcome to episode number 37 of Ready Play Movies, your weekly source for everything that's new and exciting in the world of entertainment. Every Tuesday at 6 a.m. Pacific or 9 a.m. Eastern Time, finally, we discuss the top news, we discuss the top news of the week, notable releases, what we're watching, big topics of the industry, and the movies we love. If you want to write anything to be read on the show, send us an email at readyplaymovies@gmail.com or hit us up at readyplaymovies on Twitter. No matter where you found us, please subscribe to the feed so you can get every new show directly to your device as soon as it posts. And if you like it, please leave us a nice review. This is September 21st, 2021. I'm your host, Louis Menchaca, and joining me today is my co-host, Mr. Troy Bracey.
How's everybody doing, man? It's good to be back talking movies.
Yeah, man, we're finally back on time. After 2 weeks of not posting on time. I always say in the intro we go up on Tuesday mornings, and I've been missing them. But 2 weeks ago, I put them on Tuesday night, and then last week I just happened to put it on Wednesday night. So I'm sorry about that, but we're finally on time.
Hey, listen, they ain't tripping as long as they get it. You know what I'm saying?
We haven't missed the episode count is correct. We haven't missed an episode other than the snowstorm that happened.
Yeah.
So which we made up. So we're good. We're good. We're gonna be on track to hit episode 50, by the end of the year.
Yeah, we coming up. We coming close to it.
So yeah, we're like almost 10 months deep into doing the podcast.
Hey man, we got to do something big for 50. You know what I'm saying? We got to do something, creative or fun or something. Have people on or something like that.
Yeah. We're gonna be talking about movies and stuff and all that good stuff. But I'm gonna tell you this right now, it is by far. I've been saying a couple of times we've been having some slow news week. This is by far the slowest news week I have ever done when putting the show together. It was just like ridiculous. It was the driest of spells, but it's okay because we're just gonna sort of just relax and just have a good time because we got some things to talk about.
Yeah, we're gonna make it work regardless.
Yeah, we can make it 2 hours out of anything. But I'm gonna try to hit for 90 minutes this episode just to help you guys out because I've been noticing we've been having longer and longer episodes every week. So, Troy, did you watch anything by any chance?
Man, this week, Louis, I ain't watching nothing. I had this was a busy week. First of all, I'm working on a new script, a movie script. You know what I mean? It's called The Devil's in the Details. So I've been working hard trying to, do that script. Then it was the Cowboys game. Then I had to work over the weekend. I usually don't have to work on the weekends. I was working the weekend. So this one hit me. This one right here hit me. I ain't watched nothing.
Yeah, same here. I might watch Cry Macho tomorrow, I think. But otherwise, no, I haven't really been watching anything. I watched What If like usual, and then over the weekend I had a movie night, and I rented digitally Don't Breathe 2.
Oh, well, you watched something.
Yeah, I did. So, it's kind of, I don't know if I count it though. I mean, it is something I did watch, but I don't necessarily count it because it's not timely. You know what I mean? I like
it wasn't on time. It didn't just drop.
I like watching stuff like new and talk about it like right when
it dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I watch Cry Macho over the weekend, I could be like, oh, okay, it's the big thing. It's the big thing. And then like watching Don't Breathe 2 now is like a bit of old news. Yeah. It's barely on the charts. I think it left the iTunes charts. It was on.
Shit, I'm surprised because it was just subpar. So
it was on the iTunes charts last week, and now it's off this week. But it's still on the Amazon charts, so it's still technically relevant.
I mean, it was a subpar movie, so I didn't expect it to stay on the charts that long.
What's kind of funny is I didn't even think it was that bad. Like
I don't think it was that bad. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it was a piece of shit. But did you see Don't Breathe 1?
Yeah. It was by far a worse.
That's what I'm saying.
It was by far a worse movie than Don't Breathe 1.
That's what I'm saying.
But I enjoyed it for like the atmosphere. Like we watched it as like a group setting, like a movie night kind of thing. Yeah. And a lot of us were talking during the movie. And usually I hate that shit. Yeah. I really do. I'm like, shut the fuck up kind of thing. I'm that kind of guy. Yeah. But no, the ambience, I feel like this movie works in that setting. Like we were like predicting and like shouting, oh, this is going to happen. Like, like we were like all we were all into it.
Well, see, I think that's one of them things where like you kind of got to separate the quality mixed with the time you have watching a movie. Yeah. Like I've had fun ass times watching some of the worst movies, but I didn't come out saying, "Oh man, that movie was pretty good," because we all laughed. No, I was like, it was bad, but damn, it was fun. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but
I guess I can't.
but
It's hard for me to do that. But, go
But
ahead.
at the same time, I do agree with you that, like, I don't think it's bad. Like,
Yeah.
I hear some people trying to, like, oh, it's bad. It's not bad. But, like, once you see Don't Breathe 1 and then Don't Breathe 2, it's like a huge drop off. But, that's the difference with me. Like, my experience watching a movie doesn't affect how good or bad I think the movie is.
Yeah. Like, for me, like, with the Suicide Squad, like, I had a bad experience of watching
Right,
it.
but and the thing is, like, if you think about it, that's not fair to the movie. It
Yeah.
ain't the movie's fault. Like, I done had times where, like, like, we'll go see a movie and it's late as hell at night and it's like the last showing and it was back when, like, none of us had a car and so, like, it'd be the last showing, I'm sleepy, I'm watching a movie, like, going to sleep halfway through it or whatever, and I'd be like, I can't really give a real, you know what I mean? Like,
that's fair. And honestly, like, a lot of the times when I do impressions, which again, I call this segment impressions anyways, because, like,
it's not a review.
I don't ever want to call it a review because I don't think I don't trust myself. I know myself well enough to know that sometimes I overinflate certain movies, and I have to have like a month go by before I can
digest and see.
Before I can truly say, like, one way or the other. Like, watch my Age of Ultron review on my YouTube channel just to prove it.
Yeah, what, you thought it was a masterpiece? Well, shit. Speaking of that, shit, watch our BVS review on there. I'm loving that movie, and then I'm looking back like, oh my god, what was I thinking? I think that's on your channel too.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
so, and that's the theater version, like the terrible version. So yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, like, you know what? I'm gonna tell you this right now. I mean, Stephen Lang is motherfucking Stephen Lang.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And he did the damn
Great
thing.
performance. Yeah.
It was a good performance. Very, like, it was very visceral, especially with how, like, he had like that father-daughter relationship that you can see that how much he's willing to go
to go above and beyond. Yeah.
And so it was like this conundrum that was like being like posed where the movie made it very easy for you to decide which way was right, but if it was more ambiguous, instead of making these certain characters out to be a villain and make them good, that would have been interesting. That would have been a very like a tug of war, like a push and pull. But then the movie cops out.
Yeah, it does typical cop
out. You know what I'm talking about,
yeah,
right?
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
But like, I don't want to spoil anything, obviously. But it's interesting. I would have liked for a more nuanced, more
something more like one of the things.
If it was more nuanced, it would have probably been as good as Don't Breathe 1.
Exactly, because that is what made the first one really good. You know what I mean? They tried to do something different and unique, and I felt like they didn't continue that trend on with the sequel.
Yes. So I would have actually, you know what? I didn't even think about that just now, and I'm like, well, fuck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like, that just sort of like makes the movie worse for me now that I just thought of it as on the spot right now.
Yeah.
But as far as like, I don't know, would I recommend it? Yeah, sure. I paid $20 for it. What I say?
Damn, that shit that expensive?
Yeah,
fuck that shit. I know. I'm like,
Would I tell you to pay $20 for that movie? No.
Fuck no.
I would say $6.
Yeah, $6. Yeah,
I would
it's
say
worth
so.
the $6.
Let it, because right now it's on that premium window. When it goes down to the regular window, like the outside of the premium, then I would say $6 would be a better price for that movie.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Luckily, it was a bunch of us here, so it was like the price per head is all right. So. But yeah, I feel like there was one other thing I wanted to say about the movie, but I can't remember. Oh yeah. So like, for me, Don't Breathe 1 kind of reminded me of a horror movie. You know
that's what that's what it is. You know, that's like if you type under the genre, it's a horror movie. Okay. Yeah, it is a horror movie.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, my question to you is regarding this movie. It doesn't feel...
They kind of left that horror thing alone. They kind of just went away from it.
It turned into like an action drama.
Yeah, that's not... It's weird how they just kind of abandoned that. There's like, screw that. And it's weird because I feel like that's what a big part of what made it successful, because, the horror fans came out to support it. You know what I mean? And it did deliver in that way of being a horror movie, even though it was a little more than just a horror movie. Like, it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm scared, but it did the tone. It had the tone and the feel and the mood of a horror movie with the suspense.
There was this moment in like Don't Breathe 1 that I like almost threw up. You know what I mean? I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, right? Okay.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So like, I'm just saying, like, there was no uneasiness. There was no, like, there was like visceral images that happen in the movie, but it's not a horror movie.
Yeah, that don't make it horror just because it's visual. Yeah, visual. But I don't know what they was thinking by. I was disappointed in Don't Breathe 2 in terms of what it could have been compared to the first one.
Yeah,
like John Wick for something. Like for example, John Wick. That's something that lived up to the when John Wick 2 came out, that lived up to John Wick 1. Then when John Wick 3 came out, it lived up to John Wick 2. Now it's a new franchise. I felt like Don't Breathe could have been that. Like it could have been like if Don't Breathe 2 would have been good, I think it could have lived up to the first one and been a hit. And then Don't Breathe 3 would have came and then
So one last question. I just thought of this now, but like, were they right? Was it a good decision to turn Stephen Lang's character into a protagonist?
I don't really like that decision. I don't really like that decision. But I'm not against it if it would have been done better. Like if it would have been, if it would have kind of been executed and written a little better, I think I would have been cool with it. But me personally, I ain't really like that move. It's
very hard to do the Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator thing.
Yeah, it's hard to do that.
Where you can come back in the sequel as the protagonist.
Because the first one, like you can't just. It's almost like they try to forget that not forget that the first one happened, but it's almost like you know how you watch the second Suicide Squad and it just seems like it ain't got nothing to do with the first one, even though it's a sequel. Like it don't really. It's just like another. That's kind of how I felt about this. It's like it's just
honestly, to tell you the truth, you probably don't even need to watch the first movie at all.
Yeah. I don't.
There's no payoffs. There's no Easter eggs.
There's no kind of continuation feel. It's just another movie.
Yeah. So, anyways, I guess we'll jump off the Don't Breathe discussion here because I think I really said what I needed to say. I just started airing out my thoughts. I still had a good time though, and as far as what if though, I'm gonna tell you this right now. There was an interesting episode that happened where it went to the Iron Man 1 thing, where what if Killmonger rescued Tony Stark?
Oh, okay.
So canonically, we know there was a line in Black Panther that he was in Afghanistan, he was in Iraq, he did tours and stuff like that. Yeah. So canonically, Killmonger was in the area when Tony's Jeeps.
I wonder if they did that on purpose, like that because that's like or was that like a dope coincidence?
Yeah, I think it was a coincidence. But
that's badass. Like because it worked.
Like, remember like the part where he had the hologram in Black Panther and he's got like a little bio of him.
Yeah,
and they were talking about where he served and all these other tours he's done.
Oh yeah.
So it lines up. So he was canonically in the area when Tony Stark's got ambushed and got taken by the Ten Rings.
Yeah, that's dope. And he American, so it could have.
So in the premise of the what if is Killmonger got intel that the Ten Rings was gonna ambush Tony Stark, so he like makes it like he goes like 100 miles or whatever, 300 miles or whatever, like to go and intercept and rescue Tony, and he does.
That's dope.
And so let me ask you this: if when you hear that premise, and and I don't know if you saw the trailer, but the trailer shows Killmonger. You know that missile that said Stark Industries and then and then Tony Stark falls and like he's got the
yeah.
Okay, so that shot happens in the animation and then it's got that delay.
Yeah.
So before it blows up, well, Killmonger was right there. He gets it and then chucks it and it blows up in.
Wait,
in the air.
I can't remember in the first Iron Man, did that happen before Tony escaped? That Tony Stark thing that happened before Tony Stark escaped?
Are you talking about the missile blowing up?
Yeah, the missile blowing up.
That was part of the convoy being ambushed.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. When he was
and then he woke up and he had like a magnet tied to his heart, his chest, because the shrapnel would kill him.
Yeah, it's been so many years since I've seen the first one. I just remember loving it. But yeah.
So what ended up happening was Tony Stark is like grateful to Killmonger, and they get out of there.
See, that's crazy. I thought it was like Killmonger saved him from when he was already kidnapped and he didn't have to create the Iron Man suit to get out. Like I thought it was like he came in there and saved him.
No, he saves him before even getting kidnapped.
Oh, okay.
He saved him from getting kidnapped in the first place.
Okay.
And what's kind of hilarious is that how he has that press conference when he gets back in the U.S. Yeah. And he gives that press conference where he's like, Stark Tech is no longer making weapons and stuff like that, right? Yeah. So now instead of that same press conference is happening, but instead of him saying, we're not making any more weapons, he's like, thank you, Killmonger, for saving me and all this other stuff. Yeah. And then it turns out Killmonger, when he goes up to the microphone, he goes and gives away the plot of Iron Man 1. He said, well, actually, what's that guy's Obadiah Stane is the villain. He was in cahoots with the 10 rings, and I have receipts right here, and he has a PowerPoint right there with all the documents and the financial transactions that tied him to him. And then Obadiah Stane, instead of becoming Ironmonger or whatever the fuck, he gets arrested.
God damn. So fucking, I ain't like his villain anyway. I was like, yeah, damn, that's crazy. He just exposed his ass. Oh, spoiler alert. I'm sorry, because Louis just spoiled
That's
shit.
Iron Man 1. That's 2008, man. Fuck
No,
that
I'm
man.
talking about in What If. You just spoiled What If.
Oh, yeah, that is.
Yeah, that boy Louis good. Hey, you gotta watch Louis with the spoilers, because he will spoil some shit for your ass.
Yeah, that was a spoiler. But luckily, that's like only in the first like 8 minutes.
Man.
That's like in the first 8 minutes. So I won't spoil the rest. But like, let me ask you this: do you think that Killmonger is a hero in this What If, or is he still a villain?
He's a hero.
Okay, all right, cool. So yeah, they decided to do this weird like hybrid thing where they do Iron Man, and they basically derail Iron Man's like story completely. Just takes a left turn, and yeah, it's really interesting seeing Tony Stark in the Iron Man 1 era where he's like an alcoholic and he's like drinking a lot. And I got used to the guy that was voicing Tony Stark. I didn't like him at first. Yeah. But it's not Robert Downey Jr. But he did I
was like, come on, bro, y'all couldn't get Robert Downey Jr. to do it. Fuck.
But let me tell you this before we move on here. Fucking Michael B. Jordan had like the best line ever. Like,
oh, so they actually got him to. Yeah. Oh, okay.
He had the best line ever. It was so cold, and I don't want to spoil it, but it's the when you if you ever watch it, and I wish I could say it, but when you watch it, it is like the most dopest line ever, and I would love to repeat it, like just say that, just to throw that out there and be like,
oh shit, that's badass.
It was so good. It was like. It was on that level about like in Black Panther 1 where he's like, "Let me die where my ancestors," like.
Oh yeah. You know, oh man, that's a legendary line right there.
Yeah, it's on that level.
Oh shit, that's.
It's on that level. Okay. You know how like the slaves that died.
Yeah, buried me. Well, I forgot how like.
They were the smart ones or whatever.
Yeah, I remember that. That's at the end. Yeah. Oh, that one gut wrenching.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah.
Dude, there was it. It was so fucking good, man. I wish I could say it.
That's dope.
And I shout out to the writers on that one. So yeah, that's it. I think I like this episode of What If more than I did like the zombies episode last week. The show is sort of ebbing and flowing. It's not really hitting its stride. Yeah. I'm pretty sure the last episode will tell us whether or not the show is any good. I would say. Because I hope that the final episode is like a crossover of all the episodes. Is what I'm thinking. That's what I'm predicting.
That'll be dope.
All right, we'll go ahead and move it on to the news.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
Okay, so the Troy, as I stated before, it's the slowest news week. Let me tell you this right now. I usually average about 12 items on the extra news. I only got 6.
God damn.
And when it comes to the news stories, I usually like to do like 3 or 4 news stories for top news. I have 2.
God damn. That's crazy. One of them slow weeks.
The slowest of weeks. And honestly, to tell you the truth, the second story on the top news would have been an extra news in any other week. So, just...
Sheesh.
All right. So the first one up is the Emmys. The Emmys happened yesterday, a day of recording on Sunday, and what's really interesting is like I keep an eye on these things. I keep an eye out for them, and honestly, I didn't even know the Emmys were happening. It's kind of messed up, you know. And so here I am. We could have done a topic of the show where we predicted the winners.
Well, I'm glad I wouldn't have been able to do that one. I ain't gonna lie, cause like I'm not a television guy at all. So you know what I mean, like, and I hate to say that, cause this is one of our news things, but I have no clue. Like, I have nothing to do with the Emmys, basically. Yeah. Like,
it's okay, cause I didn't watch it, and these are all news to me as well. So streaming services dominated a ceremony that suggested that all of TV's evolution, some aspects of the Emmys will always be with us. So the Emmy Awards were back at being mostly an in-person after last year's virtual ceremony, with TV's best and brightest amassing in a classed up event tent with the banquet-style seating reminiscent of the Golden Globes, and I would say the Oscars as well. It was a more informal approach to TV's biggest night, one that was not appreciated by all attendees as the Delta variant rages on. Quote, "There's too many of us in this little room," said Seth Rogen, the night's first presenter. Damn.
Was he playing or like was he? I mean, like was it a joke or was he like dissing him? Like,
Hey, look, I'm just reading
we
the
gotta
article
put
'cause
they gotta put that in context.
I am literally like
Cause I
finding
know
this
he's
out.
a jokester too. So yeah.
But in the new format with apt for a night that perhaps heralded a new chapter of TV history, or at least the official recognition of the streaming-dominated era most of us already take for granted. For the first time, streaming services won all of the major series awards, with Netflix's The Crown winning top drama, and the Queen's Gambit, also on Netflix, taking best limited series. Ted Lasso, which is on Apple TV Plus, was named the best comedy. These shows and a couple of worthy challengers, Hacks on HBO Max, Mayor of Easttown on HBO Proper, dominated the categories. The results was an award ceremony that both signaled new beginnings and announced a handful of titles over and over and over. It's the time between. It suggested that all of TV's evolution in some aspects of the Emmys, dud bits, overlong speeches, occasional moments of true inspiration, will always be with us. So Cedric opened with a tribute to TV and Biz Markie. Wasn't that the guy that like who's Biz Markie is the guy like you got what I need. Yeah. That's Cedric the Entertainer promised that with him as the host, the Emmys broadcast could be a little different this year. Different how? The first hints arrived immediately when Cedric put off the traditional opening monologue in favor of a song that immediately infused the show with energy. TV, you got what I need. He's saying, riffing on the song "Just a Friend" by Biz Markie, who died in the oh damn, Biz Markie died this past July. What the fuck?
You didn't hear about it?
I had no idea. Rita Wilson, LL Cool J, Lil Dicky, and others joined in the verses of their own. Damn, they got Lil Dicky? Fuck. Cedric did eventually offer a traditional monologue after the first two awards, variously skewering the Met Gala, Nicki Minaj, and Billy Porter. Look at this room, man. So many talented people in here, Cedric said. Matter of fact, lock the doors. We're not leaving until we find a new host for Jeopardy. Damn.
Damn, that's a diss. Damn, what a diss.
The first hour of the show, the first two awards went to Ted Lasso. The second two were Mayor of Easttown. The next four were The Crown. And then the next two to Last Week's Tonight with John Oliver. I'm not saying these aren't good shows. Some of them are great shows. But there's a lot of variety on television, more than the Emmys seem to know about. Monotony is a vice. Let me see here. Let me skip around here. And let's see. I don't see anything that was talking about some snubs, yada, yada, yada.
Real quick, I want to say, like, no disrespect to Cedric the Entertainer, but I never really liked the idea of just having random hosts just host. Like, I like the host to have some relevancy and have something to do with the hosting. You know what I mean? Like if someone's hosting the Oscars, I would hope it was somebody that was in a movie that year or within the last 3 years that was big and that was funny. You know what I'm saying? Or with the Emmys, get someone that starred in one of the shows or something. But Cedric the Entertainer, like, what has he? I don't know. Again, I don't watch television, so I might be wrong.
He was on the Steve Harvey Show back in the 2000s.
No, but of course I ain't talking about that. That's 20 plus years ago. I'm saying of recent, like, I don't know if he's been on any shows. He hasn't done, like, so why get him to host? You just say, oh, get a random, guy to host.
He's an entertainer. He's a comedian, stand-up.
Yeah, I get it. But to me, it just feels like he has nothing to do with like, I always want the person that's hosting to be kind of aware of what's going on in the medium. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm hosting Disney something, I would want to at least know about Disney. You know what I mean? And not just there for the job, So, I mean, again, that's a nitpick problem. I don't really care because I don't watch the Emmys, but that's just a little nitpick thing. But it sounded like he did a really good job, though, based on, coming out, singing and then, doing the monologue after the fact. I thought that was cool,
So, honestly, I just skimmed over the rest of the article.
But also, I got to say, oh, my bad, not to cut you off. But I knew this was coming though. Like
What?
that streaming services are gonna dominate Emmys from here on out. Like for the most part, here on out. Because
Yeah.
I've been preaching for the longest. Streaming services won't affect movies. They will affect
TV.
television. Like that's where people get it mixed up. They feel like, oh, now that streaming services are coming out, that's messing with the movies. And no, it's not. Like people watch movies any way they can. They'll still watch them in theaters. They'll watch them at home. They'll watch them. But television, that's something that's going to be affected by it. You know what I'm saying? People are going to just start getting streaming services, and they're not going to be watching cable. You know what I'm saying? It's expensive cable. So more and more we're going to start seeing these shows, and eventually there won't be a such thing as television anymore. It'll be like, just get your TV and like they already have it. When you buy a TV, it's a smart TV with all the apps already there, and you just hook your internet up, and boom, that's how you. And really, the truth is, that's how I've been watching shit for the last 5-6 years. Just Netflix, whatever, HBO Max. I haven't had cable in I don't know how long. So I'm sure soon it's gonna be like that, and the Emmys is just gonna be filled with Apple TV Plus or Netflix nominated or
Amazon Prime.
That's what it. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't really think that's a bad thing, because to me, it's no different. Like watching television on an app and watching television like on a cable channel, it still feels the same, but it's just a new ways.
And it's more convenient because
it's more convenient.
You can watch it on your phone versus
waiting.
If you have like a cable box, you can't, unless you're paying for the service where you can sling it, which is a pain in the ass.
A pain in the ass. Yeah, it's way more convenient, and I mean it's the new era we live in. The only thing that's worse about the streaming service era is all your stuff spread it out all over the place. Like you gotta watch. Had this for Apple, had that on Apple, had this on Amazon, had this on Hulu, but cable was all packed into one. But at the end of the day, you don't have to have them all. You just have what you need. But that's the only downside to it. But at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Yeah. All right. Well, actually, to piggyback off of the what Troy was saying, actually, and by the way, I stopped that last article because I skimmed through the rest of the article. I didn't find anything interesting as far as the roundup goes. So we'll go. I have 3 other headlines that were about the Emmys. We'll sort of just kind of like skim through them here. Let's see here. All right. Netflix executives tout the historic night for streaming after dominating the Emmy Awards. So Netflix took a victory lap on Monday morning following the history-making showing at the Primetime Emmy Awards after winning 44 Emmys in total this year.
That's
tying the record for the most wins by a single platform/network in a single year, which was set by CBS in 1974. Says, quote, "I think last night was a historic night in many ways, tying to a record of CBS's 44 wins from 1974 when there was 3 networks was historic." Holy shit. They
3 was historic.
So CBS, NBC and ABC?
ABC, probably, yeah.
There was only 3 networks.
And that was historic.
Because they had won 44 awards that year, and they
but
had no competition.
Why. Yeah, that's why.
There's only 3 ways that can go.
Yeah, that's crazy.
There's like a bunch of platforms these days, and they still managed to pull off 44 Emmys in 1 year.
That's very impressive, and it's crazy. I ain't gonna lie though, if anyone could do it, I feel like Netflix would have been able to do it because the combination of they just have so much content, and B, while we always give Netflix slack for their movies, their shows be really good.
Yeah.
Their series, they know
Are
that
on point.
Yeah, they know how to do that. So it's like you getting quality and quantity when it comes to that. So it doesn't surprise me, but that's a very impressive feat.
Like when you're talking about like things like Stranger Things, like there's
All
BoJack
that,
Horseman.
Oh man.
There's what else? Shit, you can.
Orange is the New Black. Yeah, I mean you could just go. There's so many different shows that they've done over the years.
So they basically have they got it on spades and stuff like that. We'll be talking about Netflix a little later on in the show, and the one thing I just was just more impressed by is just how they're basically this headline just sort of does like cement that like a TV traditional networks are old guard, they're old hat now.
Yeah. They're a thing of the past.
All right, and next up, the Emmy Awards. Their ratings they went up 16% from last year, so it's the opposite of a decline.
Oh, that's good.
So last year in 2020 was their worst year ever. That was
Yeah,
rock
that's
bottom.
pandemic though, so you could always let that pandemic be the excuse for
Yeah.
anything that came out in 2020.
So they said the 73rd Emmys on CBS rebounded from last year's all-time low ratings, reversing steady declines with a 16% gain of viewership to 7.4 million compared to 6.37 million last year. So yeah, that's cool. Like I don't really want to go too much deeper into that, into the numbers there, but just wanted to say, as a thing that this they're safe for another year is what I was gonna say. The last thing here is, let me ask you this before I tell you the next headline, Troy. Like, do you think that people have this agenda where they want to award people of color for the sake of awarding people of color?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I think because I think it's have that agenda because if they don't, you get the Oscar so white like
Yeah.
it was back in 2016. So it's like it's this, and it's the same with women. It's the same with It's gonna start to be the same with the gays. You know, they're gonna for political reasons they're gonna reward.
So
these
obviously you're against all that, just for the.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
because I'm for the person that deserves it wins it. So
Okay.
if it happened to only be all white people that just happen to have the best performance that year, then nominate all white people. If it happened to be all Latinos that had the best performances that year, nominate all. If you nominate the best, you won't have this problem of, oh, we didn't nominate enough of this or we didn't nominate enough of that. Just nominate who really deserves it.
So this one is basically Emmys so white. Let's see here.
But see, I ain't gonna lie, real quick. And you say this one basically Emmy so white.
Yes.
There's no excuse for that though. When it comes to television, you know how many shows are out on all these different platforms? How you don't nominate? It shouldn't be no such thing as Oscar or Emmy so white or not something like that when it comes to television. Look at Netflix; they just had 44 wins. You know what I'm saying? Like it's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
So basically, I think this is an opinion column on Variety written by William Earl, and it says the take: Emmys overlook diversity. Netflix and Apple dominate for streamers. It says the Emmy Awards may have had a record number of diverse nominees. Okay, so they had nominees.
Okay.
But that's where the buck stopped. When it came to voting for them, no people of color won any of the major acting categories. Not Netflix dominated the awards. RuPaul and women directors made history, and the TV Academy missed their final opportunity to reward the late Michael K. Williams. In this special edition of Variety's video series, The Take, presented by Apple TV Plus, blah, blah, blah. Let's see here. Clayton Davis discussed their take on the week's biggest headlines. The most significant moment of the Emmys came when the late Michael K. Williams lost the supporting actor in a drama category to Tobias Menzies, who's in The Crown, who wasn't present at the London viewing party where all the cast and crew accepted their awards. Presenter Kerry Washington had a pronounced reaction after reading the winners' names. Despite a record number of people of color being nominated in the major acting categories, none of them won, with series such as The Crown, Hacks, and Ted Lasso winning big. There were some winners worth celebrating, including Michaela Coel becoming the first black woman to win writing for a limited series in history, and 2 women winning both the comedy and drama directing categories.
Well, then that means a black person won. Then what they talk about?
They won for writing and for
But that's
directing.
still a reward. That's still a reward, though. Like
Yeah, there's not because like when you think of the big categories, you think of the acting and the
yeah,
series
but
and stuff.
see, to me that's nitpicking. I can't even trip on that. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't get too technical here. You know what I'm saying? We can't. Well, black person won for this, but they didn't win for that. Like, come on now, that's just doing too much. You got a black person that was also happens to be a woman win for writing. Like and first of all, to me, I would look at writing as one of the top the top awards you can win. When you win for writing, directing, all this stuff, them are big awards for me. Like, to me, I'm just as intrigued to see who won for best writing. You know what I'm saying? Was it Quentin Tarantino or was it Paul Thomas Anderson? You know, like, so I don't know. To me, that just seemed nitpicking right there. I mean, but it is some whole ass shit. You should have rewarded the late great
Michael K. Williams.
Michael K. Williams, yeah, because it's like y'all do that shit all the time with other stuff. Y'all give people rewards for the sake of giving people the reward. So he just passed away. Give him a award. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, but I haven't seen the show, so I can't really.
Nor have I seen The Crown either.
Right,
so.
I haven't seen none of that, so maybe it's so far, like, it'll be just straight robbery if they did, you know what I'm saying? So who knows? But if it was close, you know what I'm saying, give it to the man that he just passed away. Show him honor, show him respect. Because at the end of the day, if it was someone like Oprah that just passed away, you know what I'm saying, and she's beloved all over the world and shit, and she got nominated for an Emmy, I'm pretty sure y'all would have gave it to her because she's Oprah. So just do the same, you know what I mean? Like, be real. So I don't know, but again, I don't watch these shows, so it doesn't give me the right to judge them.
Fair enough. So next up, the next actual traditional headline here is also from Variety. It says, Jim, I'm gonna probably pronounce his last name poorly. Gianopulos I'm assuming that's right. Paramount ouster is another sign of the streaming times. So, in case you guys didn't know, that this was an article. I think I'm like a week late to this one, but the changing of the legacy guard in Hollywood continues in a business focused on prioritizing content for streaming customers. Last week, we learned that seasoned studio chief Jim Gianopulos, who for decades has been shepherding big, successful theatrical movies, was being pushed out after 4 years as chairman and CEO of Paramount Pictures in favor of a digital-leaning leader known for purveying lower-cost content aimed at younger audiences or younger consumers. So while the abrupt move shocked many inside and outside Paramount, rumor had it that at some point, production chief Emma Watts might succeed Gianopulos. It was unsurprising to learn whom his Viacom CBS bosses Bob Bakish and Sherry Redstone selected to replace him. Nickelodeon CEO Brian Robbins has been steadily rising through the ranks at Viacom and was recently given added responsibility as Chief Content Officer of Kids and Family Content for Paramount Plus, which launched this year as a late-in-the-game entrant for the streaming wars. Robbins, who has been digitally facing for some time, having been founder in 2012 of Optimus TV, which originated as a YouTube network for youth and teens and later expanded into film and TV production. It is now owned by Viacom. Though Gianopulos has returned the financially struggling Paramount Pictures to profitability and hoped to oversee its big franchises and create new ones like A Quiet Place, he comes from a very different era, one where movies had a long executive runway in theaters before being available at home, and expensive box office releases with huge returns drove the business. Now, media companies are reevaluating capital investments as they attend to the immediate needs of the streaming platforms. So I'm gonna stop it right there. So basically, they got some young buck coming from like Nickelodeon who's good at streaming and like YouTube and like he's like good at making that kind of content, and they're gonna make him like the CEO of Paramount. Do you think that that's a good idea?
No, hell no. No, fuck no. Listen, first of all, this is the problem. This is the definition of why big corporations fail, because they bandwagoners. We gotta do it. This is what it. Look, you know what I'm saying? Calm down, right? Like take a breath. You know what I'm saying? And just allow yourself to reevaluate the way y'all do business. You don't have to fire a dude after only 4 years. You know what I mean? You don't have to...
and he turned the ship around, too.
It's like, God damn. It's like, bro, y'all just, come on, man. And here's the thing. I don't feel like he turned the ship around, but you can't just turn the ship around. It takes years to build, shit back up. But, like, you get stuff like A Quiet Place. You know what I'm saying? A Quiet Place. How many times do we hear, ain't enough original movies in Hollywood. Ain't enough A Quiet Place. Right there, bam. And where does come from? Paramount. You know what I'm saying? It's just I don't like the idea of just firing somebody because it's like, oh, we need to fire you because of the new ways. It's like, listen, if he got a long history of dropping the ball because he's sticking to the old ways of doing things and he's not making money and you're like, look, we need to drop the ball. Okay, if that's what they did and they seeing their analytics and they're saying this dude ain't right for the job because the way things go, okay. But if you're just trying to, fire someone because you're jumping on the bandwagon of, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that, then to me that's reactionary, and we talked a little bit about that last week about like I can't stand reactionary studios. That's just they're so scared that they make dumb decisions based off of their fear, of getting left behind or losing money or whatever the case may be. Y'all supposed to be professionals and y'all supposed to trust in whatever game plan y'all do have. And that to me seemed reactionary to me. Like, oh, we need to figure this out. And the thing is, Paramount Plus, that shit gonna fail anyway. What chance does Paramount Plus have in the streaming wars? You know what I'm saying? When you got people with Lord of the Rings and shit, you got, HBO Max with all their content, Disney with all that. Paramount Plus, what does that have that's gonna compete with all that? You firing people just to try to compete with, you know what I'm saying? It's like, create your own lane and stay there. That's how I look at it.
So yeah, it does feel like they are like whoever's in charge at Viacom is basically sort of just chasing the new hotness.
Yeah, that's what it is. Right, exactly. That's exactly what it is.
This guy knows what the youth is about, so let's promote him, kind of thing. And it's really weird. This person that on Variety wrote on a personal note, I've always been very fond of Gianopulos and consider him one of the most decent and smartest industry leaders. And by the way, during his 16-year run at 20th Century Fox, he was always thought of as ahead of the curve and at the forefront of new media. Among his peers and other studios, he was one of the first to embrace the convergence of entertainment and new technologies.
Wait, is this the dude they fired?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Post-Paramount, Gianopulos will surely figure out a way to parlay his savvy, decades of experience, and strong ties in Hollywood into an innovative new endeavor. So basically, this guy has a good resume, and he's been his peers think highly of him.
Yeah.
And they ousted him.
Yeah, see, like that's the shit that's the shit that it won't surprise me if 2 years later we're reading an article saying Paramount is about to go out of business or some shit like that, because this is the stuff that causes that, like, I don't know. It wasn't a lot of thought and effort, I think, putting into that firing, and it was wrong at that.
So yeah, let me see here. Bob Bakash and Sherry Reston selected to replace him. It seems here to me if this guy Brian Robbins is going to be the new CEO of Paramount, I really hope that, I'm pretty sure there's no way he's going to be worse than Disney CEO Bob Chapek.
You got to be one hell of a terrible fucking person at your job to be worse than Bob Chapek. Yeah, Bob Chapek, boy, man.
So let's just give him that.
We'll give him that. Like, yeah,
you're not worse than Bob Chapek, which is like not a very high bar to clear. But just throwing that out there, I just think that there's a possibility that maybe Paramount Plus becomes a contender. Like, maybe it surpasses HBO Max. It's like now it's a trinity. It's like Disney Plus, Netflix, and Paramount Plus.
Fuck no, like, but the reason why I don't think that, because Paramount don't got nothing. Like, the reason why Disney Plus is even,
because they got the treasure chest.
They got a treasure chest. The only reason HBO Max is in any discussion, they got a treasure chest full of shit.
Yeah.
The only reason Netflix is in discussion because they started this shit and they like the runners of it.
Yeah.
So it's like, what,
first movers advantage.
What makes you think you just finna come and like what properties do you have that's on that level where you could just come boom back to back to compete with these other gigantic and Amazon? You know what they did? They said, oh yeah, let me get my hand in that. Let me get Lord of the Rings. Like let me go ahead and jump in this whole conversation too with Lord of the Rings. Like I don't know. Like maybe Paramount can come up with a hit or pull something out their ass, but I just wish they could have. Why not bring the dude on and hire him as a I don't know, a helper in that? Why do you have to fire dude and make him the new, you know what I mean? Just bring him on to be an advisor or something. You don't need to fire dude. Come on, man.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and move it on to the extra news here. And there are 6 items on the list here. Number 1, Christopher Nolan's upcoming film may get a 120-day theatrical release window from Universal. So it was part of his contract negotiations.
Did we didn't talk about this last week?
The day, okay, so we covered the Christopher Nolan stuff on all that stuff. The next day, the day we posted the podcast, the headline came out about it's not even a 90-day theatrical, a 120-day theatrical window headline came out. So it's a bit of an update to last week's show. Number 2, Venom 2 director says that Venom and Spider-Man will meet. Number 3, Howard Shore returns to Middle-earth to score Amazon's Lord of the Rings. So he was the original guy that composed the Peter Jackson.
Good move.
So yeah, there you go. Number 4, Belfast, which was the Kenneth Branagh. Wait, what's his name? What's the Thor Ragnarok director?
Thor Ragnarok?
Yeah.
Oh,
not Kenneth Branagh.
No. Thor Ragnarok?
Yeah.
That's old dude, the foreign guy. What's his name?
It's not. Okay, you know what? It is Kenneth Branagh. Okay, never mind.
Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi
did Ragnarok.
So Kenneth Branagh is Thor 1.
Yeah, he did the first Thor.
Yeah. So I believe it's directed by him. Belfast wins the top prize at the Toronto International Film Festival. And number 5, a new Lost Boys movie starring Noah Jupe from A Quiet Place and Jaden Martell is set to be filmed at Warner Brothers. So, in case you didn't know, The Lost Boys was a Corey Haim and Corey Feldman movie from back in the 80s. Number 6, our box office report. Been another quiet weekend at the box office. Shang-Chi stayed at number 1 for a third weekend in a row, and it's only $7 million away from surpassing Black Widow. And also, just to give you guys a little bit of extra stuff, Prime Macho was at number 3, opened at number 3 for $4.4 million, and Cop Shop opened at number 6 for $2.3 million. And also, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, damn. I guess it got a limited release because it's only got 450 theaters here listed. The Eyes of Tammy Faye opened at number 10 with $652,000. So, yeah, that's going to be it for the extra news. Troy, is there anything that you wanted to dissect?
Well, starting off with the Nolan and the whole 120-day run, I like that he's doing that because I feel like he's gonna start a new wave of like, cause I'm sure if he's trying to do a 120-day run, he's trying to do like some exclusive shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, for my movie, let it be 120 days. And I like that just because I feel like, that's going to start a trend of all the other directors going to say, well, let me do a deal for 120 days and let me do a deal. And so that way, for certain movies, if the director have a certain enough clout, and it's a certain badass of enough movie, we can start seeing bigger runs. And that'd be cool to me. Like, if we have our 90-day window for the regular, for the regular movies, and then, is it 90 days?
It's 45 days.
45 days window.
It's 45 days now because of COVID.
Yeah.
But before COVID, it was 90 days.
Okay, yeah. So now, I'm sorry. The 45-day window for regular movies, that's our new normal, right? The 45 days. And then for every now and then, if a director come with enough clout, like if a Spielberg or a Tarantino or a Nolan or something, they like could do like their own separate deals. Like, look, for my movie, let me get 100 days, let me get 90 days, you know what I'm saying? And then, so every now and then for certain movies, we could get, cause like for a Star Wars movie, I wouldn't mind having a 90-day run for a Star Wars movie. 120 days, that's actually a lot. Like,
that's 4 months.
Yeah, that's a lot. Like, but regardless, like, for certain specific movies, I feel like I wouldn't mind a longer runtime in theaters. Like, I wouldn't mind after 3 months, like, man, let me go back and see this in theaters one more time.
Wow.
So
I would love to see, like, Steven Spielberg being like, I have a 365-day theatrical window.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, like, because if you go back to my comments, originally when the 45-day window thing was announced, I wasn't up in arms about it. You got certain people that was tripping. I was kind of like, look, it's all good. I feel like movies, if you like a movie, you're going to see it within the first 2 weeks. 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. You don't need every movie don't need to be 3 months long in theaters. So,
what if the theatrical window became 21 days? 3 weeks.
Then I'll have a problem with that.
No, I mean, hey, look, it's within 3 weeks.
Yeah, but I still have a problem with that because like you got some people that want to see the movie 5 times. Like certain movies I've seen literally 5 times. I've seen Logan in theater like 5 times. I've seen Avengers Infinity War like 3 or 4 times. You know what I'm saying? And you're not gonna see them 3 or 4 times in
21 days.
In 21 days. So that's why I have a problem with that. That's a little different. But yeah, so I like this idea. I like what Nolan is doing. Like it kind of seemed fucked up. Like I'm Nolan. I'm the bad motherfucker. Give me more than 45 days. But I hope he starts like this trend of badass directors or badass movies getting a longer runtime. So.
During negotiations with Universal for his new film, Christopher Nolan asked for an extra long theatrical window before it goes to streaming platforms. All right. Yeah, I mean, I believe it. I believe it. Yeah. So let's see here. What's next here?
Also, I'm glad that they got the original composer back for the score of the Lord of the Rings. Because one of my fears about the Lord of the Rings, I'm super excited for this show. I'm like unbelievably excited. And
you won the Oscar for that? Damn.
Yeah, absolutely. That Lord of the Rings got to steal the record for most Oscars of one movie. But one of my fears, even though I'm super excited for this show, one of my fears is it's not gonna feel like Lord of the Rings no more. It's gonna. I mean, of course take place in that universe, so it's gonna be. But I just hope it just don't feel like a completely different thing just taking place in Middle Earth kind of thing. You know, I hope it still kind of feels like this exists within the world of the Lord of the Rings, and getting the composer, getting certain things that helps it feel like it still exists in the same universe, you know. So I'm
is
glad.
this like a reboot or is it just
it's
Middle Earth?
No, yeah, I think it's a prequel. To it, but yeah, it's not a reboot. It takes place. This still takes place in the same universe as Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, all that. I can't remember if it's supposed to be like before. I don't remember, but it's all I know is it's in that universe. So that's what makes it even more exciting. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so. While neither writer or director Peter Jackson nor the original cast are part of the Amazon Studios' The Lord of the Rings series, deadline here is that may well be an important point of familiarity. Howard Shore, whose work on the Middle Earth trilogy won him 3 Oscars, is in talks to compose the music for the TV series. This is an important development for a series that carries a reported cost of $465 million for its first season, making it the most expensive TV series of all time. The so far untitled series, based on J.R.R. Tolkien's classic novels, recently wrapped principal photography of season 1, and it's scheduled to premiere on Prime Video on September 2nd, 2022.
Yeah, see, and that's why, like, if you read that article, that's why, you know, that's kind of my concerns, you know, because Peter Jackson ain't involved, the original writers, the original cast. Yes. So you start to worry, like, damn, is it still going to be Lord of the Rings? So that's why I'm glad they're doing stuff like bringing the original composer back, you know what I mean, to kind of keep it with that feel.
And they're filming in New Zealand, by the way. It says that they're filming in the same place where they filmed it.
So yeah, that's good. That makes me feel like it's gonna feel, because it don't need to be a carbon copy of the original classic Lord of the Rings. It just needs to feel like it still exists in that universe.
Okay, fair enough.
So yeah, and I'm really tripping that Peter Jackson ain't doing it, because that boy fell off.
I was gonna say this right now. I think it's very self-serving for Andy Serkis, who's the director of Venom 2. Shout out to Andy Serkis for Caesar and Gollum.
Yeah.
It's very self-serving for Andy Serkis to say that Spider-Man and Venom will meet because he's got a movie to promote. You know what I mean? Let there be carnage.
Oh, is that what he said? That like Carnage and Venom? I mean, that Venom and Spider-Man gonna meet?
Serkis has said that Venom 2 will stand on its own without taking the Marvel Cinematic Universe into too much consideration. However, Serkis went on to say that the meeting between Spider-Man and Venom will happen one day in the future.
Wait, what?
Serkis went on to say that the meeting between Spider-Man and Venom will happen one day in the future.
Like one day. Oh, okay. I'm thinking of like the timeline. I'm like, wait, in the future of when Spider-Man turns? Like, I don't know. Okay, but yeah, okay.
So
I mean, what is he supposed? Listen. Here's the thing. Like,
what's he supposed to say?
yeah. Well, here's the thing, because it's not like he's coming up with this out of thin air. You know, you got in the Morbius trailer, you see Spider-Man in that motherfucker. You saying like all these different hints that they're trying to make it that like this universe is gonna combine with each other. So it's not like he just came up with this out of thin air. Like, oh, that this is gonna be. Oh, really? Like, people been speculating that Venom. I mean, I think I seen somewhere that like Tom Hardy had a Far From Home hat on, like merch on. So it's like you could tell they're doing little things to, and then after this, Spider-Man deal is up with Marvel. So it's little things that makes me feel like they're trying to like slowly get people hyped for it. And they're probably using that with Venom, and with this, they're using Spider-Man to help market this. Like, oh, look, this can be a potential, crossover. You better come see this. You better come see this Venom as a potential crossover. And so I think that's what
it sort of makes it like it's required reading. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it's actually kind of funny. It's like I didn't actually include that in my roundup for my news because apparently it was like a situation where Tom Hardy was wearing a hat, production hat for Spider-Man Far From Home. He put it on Instagram and then he deleted it.
Yeah,
and
see,
so
stuff like that.
People are speculating that he's
stuff like that. Yeah. I feel like they doing that for marketing. Like, I think all this little stuff is because you know how people is. Like, anything that has something to do with a crossover or a multiverse thing, it makes people super excited for it, right?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if someone from Sony said, hey, post a picture and delete it. Everybody's gonna speculate, right? I could bet any kind of money if you type on YouTube right now and type Tom Hardy with a hat on, it's gonna pop up as someone doing a video about it, or like, oh, means a clue that it's gonna combine with Spider-Man. I think that's marketing, and it's actually very smart.
Yeah, so I was right though about the it was Kenneth Branagh. He was the director of the first Thor movie, and yeah, Belfast. We talked about that on the Check This Out on a previous week, where it was like a trailer where it was like in black and white.
Yeah,
and you were like, it was.
It
shot.
looks good.
I said it's shot weird. It's really weird camera angles, and you're like,
I loved it.
And you were like, yeah, man, it's good. It's good. And I'm like, okay. And so, yeah, apparently it won the highest award, the People's Choice Award at the Toronto Film Festival.
It don't surprise me because when I see a good movie, I can tell. All I gotta see is a trailer, and I can tell when something is lovely or when it's subpar. Like I could get a good vibe from the trailer, and it didn't surprise me, man.
Yeah. All right. And then also just give you guys like the little picture here. That's Noah Jupe right there. Jaden Martell. Where's Jaden Martell from? What's he?
I don't know. He looks too familiar though.
See here. Okay. Martell,
Honey Boy.
Martell was in the It movies.
Oh yeah, and It. Okay. Yeah.
He was also in Knives Out. Oh, what? And Masters of Sex? What the hell? Okay.
I heard of Masters of Sex.
Isn't that a Netflix show?
Yeah, it's one of them from one of them streaming services. Oh yeah, and I forgot. Yeah, he was in Knives Out too.
Yeah,
he already got a solid career. Like Knives Out, he's in It and Knives Out are like the two most like original film. Like how we ain't getting original movies these days. It and Knives Out are the two best original films we got in the last 5 years in terms of like originality. So
yeah, so you got two big like teen stars right now, and it's basically like Corey Haim and Corey Feldman.
Oh yeah, how that was.
They were like
80s.
two big like 80s stars
coming
paired together.
Yeah, coming
Corey
up.
and Corey, and now it's like you're doing that here with this.
Okay.
So yeah, there's that, and also the other headline was that was it actually. So we'll go ahead and actually keep the show moving along here and move on to check this out. Now, Troy, inevitably, what happens is when we have like the best week in trailers ever last week, we have the worst week in trailers this week.
It don't take too long.
So
we went that big dip. We did that dip, man.
So there was not a whole lot of trailers that came out this week, and I sort of had to like scrounge and scrape the bottom of the barrel. So let's go ahead and start off with Halloween Kills. It is the final trailer. And I'm not gonna lie, this trailer did give away a lot. So like in this trailer, like the woman is like, "Why are you kids out here playing? It's like it's really late." It's like, "Well, it's Halloween and stuff like that." And he's like, "I was like, have you seen a man?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like right there, right behind you. And then there he is, right there, boom. Like, holy shit.
Yeah,
And I mean, like, he's like playing hide and seek with us, and like, he's like, and they didn't think he was scary. He's like, run, bitch, run. And so, yeah.
See, that's that goofy shit right there. Like, you know damn well kids would be afraid of that. Like, if they seen a dude over there in a mask, they just gonna be like, oh, look,
It's Halloween.
Yeah, it's Halloween. I don't know, but it don't matter. Like, scary is scary. I used to be scared as fuck on Halloween. I see people dressed up and shit. I be like, man, get away. So, but I don't know. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it mainly because of the last movie. The last movie was so damn good. I mean, it's up there. The last Halloween was up there with the best Halloween ever, the original. You know what I mean? That's how good the last one was. They did so good, and they did such a good job of mixing like this action type feel to it, to like with the horror. Like it felt more like, you know, it felt still like a horror movie, but it felt like an action packed horror movie. You know, and I feel like they're going along with that. I don't know if it's this sequel.
Holy shit! They have like original actors from the original movie. Look, they have they show the actors
that's crazy.
with their...
Oh, damn. That's dope. I didn't even know that. I didn't know they were bringing them back.
Yeah. So
that's fucking dope, man. Like, I don't know. I feel like they might be doing a bad job marketing this movie, because why am I just now finding out about that? Like, what the hell? You know what I'm saying? But I don't know.
Well, they put it in the trailer. They put it in the final trailer, so at least there's that.
Yeah, there's that. But they should have had that shit in the first trailer. Like, but to be fair, I feel like they showing a lot with this.
Yeah. That's the one thing. That was my criticism. Is this trailer shows too much of the plot. Of this movie.
And listen, one of the
I like the last trailer better. One
of the red flags for me, like with all movies, is when movies show a lot in the trailers. It makes me feel like they're not confident, and they gotta show you as much as they can to get you excited. So I'm not saying this movie gonna be bad, but when I was looking at red flags, we're like, I don't know about this movie. It's when they show a lot. When you get a little bit, like when you get like one or two trailers and then they're done. To me, that shows, okay, this is probably gonna be a great movie. You think of Joker, Logan. You think of even the new Eternals movie. Like, when they show only 2 trailers, that let me know they got supreme confidence. When they show like 5 trailers, all of them, exposing the movie, I don't know. So, but I mean, I don't think it's bad. But I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, it comes out in theaters and on Peacock on October 15th.
That Peacock shit. See, that pissed me off. I ain't even gonna see it in theater. I'm gonna go watch it on Peacock and then delete my subscription.
I think it's only $5 too.
It's only $5.
Yeah,
on
for
Peacock.
A month. There's 3 tiers on Peacock. There's a free tier which is free, and it doesn't have it has a limited selection. You can't watch everything. You only watch certain things. And it's got ads. $5 ads. $10 no ads.
Oh, okay.
So.
Fuck them for putting out Halloweens on Peacock. That's such a weak move. I ain't even gonna see this. I ain't gonna even support this. Can't believe they did that.
Next up is Nightmare Alley, which is a Bradley Cooper movie, and Cate Blanchett and Toni Collette, directed by Guillermo del Toro.
Oh, I'm excited for this. Shit, I ain't never seen it. I'm excited for this.
You're just not watching the trailer.
The cast is fantastic, and you got del Toro directing it. Oh yeah, I'm excited for this.
Bradley Cooper. It says.
Oh, I've been waiting on this. This Bradley Cooper was supposed to. Leonardo DiCaprio was supposed to play this role,
and he had to turn it down.
He had to turn it down, and then they went and got Bradley Cooper. I've been waiting for this for 2 years now. Wow, it's finally coming out.
Yeah, it's coming out. Willem Dafoe. This is coming out on Christmas actually in December.
Oh man,
that's
it's looking magical.
By the way, okay, so
2021.
So let me tell you this right now. Let me tell you this. This trailer is a work of art in and of itself.
Oh yeah.
You know why?
I can tell. Yeah.
You know why? Because like you can't hear the audio. Obviously, you can only see it. But Willem Dafoe is narrating the trailer, and he's like beckoning you to come to this sideshow of like this creature, this scary creature. Is it man or is it beast? You know, like he's sort of like. Making it so scary, you know, like kind of drumming it up.
And it seemed like this kind of like, it seemed like this kind of got something to do with magic or some shit.
It's like a sideshow, like one of those carnival kind of things.
Like that.
Yeah, so what happens is Rooney Mara, Richard Jenkins, and stuff like that, Ron Perlman. Damn, so it's a good cast.
Hey, listen, check me out. I know this movie's gonna be good. First of all, because of the director. We all know how special he is. The cast, we all know, but the fact that Leonardo DiCaprio was about to be in this movie shows that because Leo only plays in good movies. That's a fact. Like,
this is a good shot right here. Look at this shot right here.
It's a beautiful shot. I'm excited for this movie, man. For this to be a week for trailers, for this to be a bad week for trailers, this helped it for me because I'm super excited for this, man. I know it's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah. So what's interesting is like this the reason why I say this trailer is like a work of art is because it kind of drums up excitement because like Willem Dafoe is like beckoning you into this world and stuff over his narration, and then what happens is you never see the beast in this trailer. They're hyping up like this thing that you can't see.
And you don't ever see
You don't
it.
ever see it.
And you know, it's crazy, Louis. 2021 is gearing up to be legendary. Like this, like when it's almost like all the movies is just getting pushed back to the last quarter of the year. It's like they pushing all of
Matrix 4, Spider-Man 3.
But I mean,
like,
and even from blockbuster to like you named the Matrix, James Bond, all this shit. But even to the small movies, to the the little art house films
like Belfast. There's,
Jesus Christ.
Paul Thomas Anderson.
The Paul Thomas Anderson movie. You got the Leonardo
the French
DiCaprio.
Dispatch,
Yeah. You got so much shit. The French Dispatch, the Leonardo DiCaprio movie with Adam McKay. What's it? One Night in Soho with fuck, I can't even think of the director name. But it's so many movies from all different sizes coming from blockbusters to art house films. It's like this year is just getting absurd. Dune, like it's so many. This year is
which is both an art house movie and an action.
Yeah, it's like combined. Yeah, that's what he does.
It's
like
both.
Yeah, man. So this year it's like every single week. I'm reminded of a movie that I can't wait to see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even the Gucci movie with what's her name?
Lady Gaga and stuff.
Lady Gaga and all that. It's just so many movies that I'm like, I even got a text message. I'll show you after the show. I got a text message. My friend was like, hey man, you ain't been doing reviews, bro. You need to jump on it. There's some heat coming this year. Like he telling me.
Oh, and you're like, oh, that's why you wanted to know about the podcast. You were like, you wanted to see, last week. You were like, "Where's the link for the podcast?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
yeah, for sure." Yeah. So it's like I'm telling you, like this year is getting bonkers.
Yeah, that's right. You better tell your people on Love the Movie Troy to come watch us.
Like, yeah, absolutely.
We get all the impressions right here. It's
for sure.
As well as all the news you guys need. So, in A Nightmare Alley, I'm gonna read the synopsis here. In Nightmare Alley, the ambitious carny Bradley Cooper, with a talent for manipulating people with a few well-chosen words, hooks up with the female psychiatrist played by Kate Blanchett, who is even more dangerous than he is. Damn.
And if this movie is good, this could be a great year for Bradley Cooper because he's also in the Paul Thomas Anderson movie, Licorice Pizza. So he's in that. And in this, two big time directors in 1 year. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? And they coming out at around the same time because this is what you say, Christmas or something. Yeah. And then that's the same time when that's going to come out. So, yeah, it's crazy.
All right. So to continue, and there's only one good trailer left, but to continue on with the bad week of trailers, it's something called VHS 94. It's shot like and edited to make it look like it was, filmed on a VHS. Like it's like a found footage kind of film. And so what's kind of interesting is Shudder is the app. It's like a streaming service.
Oh yeah.
Shudder's a streaming service that's only horror movies.
Yeah, I heard.
And I reviewed even a movie that was on Shudder. The one with the kids, getting kidnapped and everything like that.
I remember you.
Fuck, I can't remember the name of the movie. All right. Well, anyways, I watched it. It's on a previous episode of the podcast. I gave my impressions. But so what I haven't been fully honest with you is like when I do the trailer roundup, I see every trailer, and a lot of times I had to cut trailers that don't make the cut. A lot of them were Shudder originals. This one had to make the cut because this was actually a pretty interesting, like looking Blair Witch looking movie. It's like it looks like one of those like found footage films where they're like fucking around and finding these things on a VHS like Poughkeepsie tapes kind of style, and then like there's like this like horror like this creature kind of element thing going on. This shot reminds me of Doom, like the rock, the game. Yeah. So like, and also what's kind of funny is that it's recorded over a VHS, so you have like this infomercial that's in the middle
neat.
of it.
That's neat.
But because it's like like
it's mixed in.
It's mixed in where somebody records over something.
That's neat. That's neat.
It's a lot of style. I'm not gonna lie. So I can't say like the movie's gonna be good, but it's very stylized.
Yeah, it's unique. They're trying to do something different. You know what I mean? Yes.
And apparently it's the fourth film in a franchise. So it's a Shudder original film. It's the fourth installment in a hit horror anthology franchise. and marks the return of the infamous found footage anthology with segments from franchise alumni, blah, 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 blah. All right, so no need to go any further. But it's going to be on Shudder on October 6th. So.
It was legendary when.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, Shudder goes hard on October because it's Halloween season.
Oh, yeah,
so.
absolutely. So that's why we getting all these horror movies coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready for Last Night in Soho. That's my number one anticipated horror.
All right, next up is West Side Story, which is the Steven Spielberg movie. Now, this is an actual trailer because before we had nothing but teaser trailers, like just teasers.
Yeah.
And now we actually have some.
I kind of disagree with you on this, but this been only good trailer so far. We got the Halloween trailer, the Guillermo del Toro trailer. The VHS trailer was solid, and now we got a Spielberg trailer. What are you talking about? This lives up to last week. It's not as good, but it's
last week we kept on getting hyped for every fucking thing.
Yeah, but this is probably one of our better. Check this out.
Yeah. So the reason why I would say like this one is a better because like one of the things about the last trailer is that you don't have no dialogue, you barely get anything, you just get tone. That's about it.
Yeah.
And it's like a teaser trailer and. You don't get a feel for nothing. This one, you actually get actual. Like,
ain't this a musical?
Yeah, it's a musical.
Okay.
It's coming out in like Christmas, like December. I think I want to say December 22nd.
Spielberg like him because he was in Spielberg's last movie too. The digital movie. What was that?
Ready Player One.
Ready Player One. Yeah, he was the lead in Ready Player One. So it seems like Spielberg must like him.
Yeah, so there we go. So yeah, I actually I like this trailer because we.
Was he? No, he wasn't. I might be tripping on that. My bad.
I would believe you because I don't even remember the name. Wasn't it Ty Sheridan? When Ready Player One?
It might have been because I get those mixed up. That's why.
Yeah, he looks like Ty Sheridan.
Yeah, I get them mixed up every time one of them are in a movie. I think they the other person. So yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, I don't really have a lot to say about this movie other than hey, it's there. As always, with every check this out, I always put the link in the description for all of the trailers, so you guys can watch them and check it out for yourselves. And we'll go ahead and move on to the next trailer. I Know What You Did Last Summer. This one's only a minute long, and it's an Amazon Prime series. It is a remake of the 90s movies from like Jennifer Love Hewitt and Sarah Michelle Gellar. Yeah. And it's like, how do you put it? It's a show. It's not a movie. So it's like they sort of like take their time with a lot of things. They don't really show like the thing that happened in the movie like until at the very end of the trailer. But it basically kind of feels like they're trying to do like a remake, like a modern technology remake where the killer is texting them, where it's like, I'm gonna kill you, and a clown face emoji. You know what I mean? Like it is so fucking like dumb. Like, but it seems kind of millennial.
It looks bad. Like just, I'm talking about just looking at it. From what I'm looking at, it looks bad. I don't want to say it's bad, but it looks bad.
Yeah, it looks shot terribly, by the way.
Yeah, it looks like an amateur just shot it. It don't look like it's scary. Like that looks goofy, like a big iPhone. Like it's almost look like product placement. Like, let me show you my new iPhone 13. With what I mean? It's like, come on, man.
I'm coming for you, clown
with
face.
A big clown face.
Yeah.
That'll make me laugh. Like, if someone said that. Like,
yeah. So they're just that was like a dumb.
The acting is bad. Like, oh God, bro.
So yeah, that's that. And finally, this one I don't want to spend too much time on.
I thought that said Inhumans. I'm about to say
the Humans. It is a Richard Jenkins movie, and it's coming out on November 24th. It looks like an Oscar-y kind of Oscar bait drama movie. I think it also stars Amy Schumer and Steven Yeun, who was an Oscar nominee.
I heard about this.
And so yeah, it's I believe it's an adaptation of a play. I think, and basically.
Oh, that's good framing.
And it's basically and it kind of looks like a stage play at times with the way the
it's
shots
framed,
are
yeah.
Yeah. So basically, it seems to be like a movie about a family just having dinner together, and they're just sort of talking about like their lives, kind of thing. And it's a drama. I don't really like this trailer. I watched the trailer, and this did not sell me on the movie, to tell you the truth. It looks kind of Oscar baity kind of thing.
It's funny because it sounds like, damn, this must have been the cheapest movie ever to make because it's just people in a room talking. Like,
yeah, it's just kind of like just dumb. I don't know, like not dumb, but like it's obviously a drama. Let me read you the synopsis here. It says here, Eric Blake has gathered 3 generations of his Pennsylvania family to celebrate Thanksgiving at his daughter's apartment in Lower Manhattan. As darkness falls outside the eerie, as darkness falls outside and eerie things start going bump in the night, the group's deepest fears are laid bare. The piercingly funny and haunting debut film from writer-director Stephen Karam, adapted from his Tony Award-winning play, The Humans explores the hidden dread of a family and the love that binds them together. It seems very generic, to tell you the truth, when I read that synopsis.
I don't know. Like, I don't really know. I don't really have an opinion on this. I can't really. I'll have to watch the trailer with the sound on because movies like this, it really depends on the dialogue.
Yeah.
You know, like if the dialogue is fantastic, this could it could carry the movie and make it a great movie. If the dialogue's subpar, then you know the movie could suffer for that because it's kind of like a dialogue driven movie. I mean, I could already just see from the way it looks, it's shot brilliantly, it's framed brilliantly, and it's shot brilliantly. But you know, it's much more stuff to it. So again, I can't say nothing good or bad about this.
Yeah, so you got Richard Jenkins, Amy Schumer, and Stephen Yeun, who literally could have almost won the Oscar this year. You know what I mean? So it's like I can see that there's something there in there, but like I didn't really buy into it, to tell you the truth. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the trailers this week. I would say, like, for me, I guess the standout was in fact Nightmare Alley by far. I think that really, in and of itself, kind of like carried the weight.
Oh yeah, it's not even close. It's Nightmare Alley by far.
All right, we'll go ahead and move on. There we go. And yes, it's time for topic of the show. So, for topic of the show this week, I decided to sort of be more relaxed and just sort of have fun. Before we started taping the show, I showed Troy a video from Screen Rant. And for those that don't know about Screen Rant has a YouTube channel as well as they're primarily a website first. They're like writing articles that cover movies and stuff like that. But then they sort of expanded to YouTube.
Adverted,
Yeah, they expanded to YouTube, and they have this guy. His name is Ryan George, and he does a series every Tuesday called Pitch Meeting, where he pitches a movie to an executive, where he gives you like the synopsis of I don't know, Fast 9, and he has these catchphrases like super easy, barely an inconvenience. He's a comedy writer and he's really good at it. He's got this very like sarcastic sense of comedy.
Yeah.
And so now they decide, because his show Pitch Meeting is like one of the most successful things on the Screen Rant YouTube channel, they decided to give Ryan George more creative leeway with making skits. And so he's been making more skits than what you've seen. This is just one of the latest skits he's done. And so he made a skit where he was pretending to be an executive at Netflix. And he's explaining to the camera, like documentary style, where the camera crew is following him around and how he does his job and how to be an executive at Netflix. And he was just so hilarious. It was the funniest thing. We kept laughing as we were watching it. Yeah. And he's just basically just long story short, he's just, all you need to do to be a Netflix executive is throw money at people. He's just got wads of cash, just throwing it and like letting it fly, and like everyone. He's like taking like meetings where he's being like pitched a show or a movie, and he's like, he didn't even hear them pitch it. He's like, you're greenlit. I'm approving it. Here's the money. He's like, he comes into the thing with bags of money, and like it's just like the most hilarious things. And I just sort of wanted to get your reaction on the video, since we didn't talk about your reaction, and B, just sort of go one step layer, like a layer deeper than the video, and sort of just talk about the things he said and how true they are. Yeah. So go for it.
I think the video was funny. He did a good job with the video. It was written well
and shot well too, by the way. Whoever they got for like that stuff. Yeah.
So he did a good job. I like the video, and I'm not into those type of videos at all. Like the little skit funny thing. I'm just not into it. Oh. But even still, I seen that, I was like, oh, that was good. That was neat. So, but yeah, so he did a good job. And but what I liked about the videos, the most part, is that like what I liked about the video the most, was that it's pretty accurate. Like,
Yeah.
I don't feel like he's not just making up shit. Like, we talk about this, a lot on this show, and it's talked over the internet. It's like, it's almost like Netflix has unlimited money. And I think we literally just last week, we was like, I think just last week, I don't remember exactly what we were saying, but I was like, what is they possible plan? And you was like, well, they, you was saying how like, well, they put out content or whatever, and it's supposed to be for the future or some shit. And I'm like, well, they're in debt. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how the fuck y'all in debt? Like,
they spend more billions of dollars than they're bringing in.
Yeah, exactly. And so like, it trips me out because I just don't understand that business model. To this day, and for it's crazy because whatever that business model is bringing everyone to wanting to do streaming services. So it's got to be, something that works. But it's just, when I look at Netflix, they've been doing it so long. Like, I can see Disney Plus being in the hole. I can see HBO being in the hole because you're going to start off in the hole when you're launching something like this.
Right.
But, I mean, Netflix is going on, about 10 years being around? Like, how are y'all still $1 billion in debt and y'all supposed to be the #1 streaming service? Like, and then you look at stuff they, like, buying Knives Out for
$300 million.
$300 million for an original film that wasn't a big blockbuster hit. I mean, Knives Out was a fantastic movie and it made money, but it wasn't like it did James Bond numbers. It was like it made a profit, cool, but like the money they spent on that and just the money they just be spending in general on stuff, and like The Irishman, they spent $100 million on it, and it's like I just don't understand like what. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
We've done many a critique on Netflix, including like when I said on new releases, every time I'm like, damn, this movie came out, and like I keep saying like, why aren't they promoting this movie kind of thing like that? There's a lot of like that. As a matter of fact, on new releases this week, I missed a new release last week that I have to read this week because they didn't promote it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so I just wanted to say like. He's done like a lot of funny jabs about how they do organic marketing. Yeah. And then all you got to do is just have movie stars and it markets themselves. Yeah. That kind of stuff. And then they have all these like these funny ass things where they just greenlight everything, and it's like it's not a risk because if you gamble on everything, you're gonna win. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's like roulette. If you bet on everything, you're gonna win no matter what.
And, and it trips me out because if I was Netflix, and again, I'm not like I don't know shit about their business model, so I'm not the guy I'm not trying to act like, oh, I know the best. But to me, because how they don't make a profit based off like box office, right? So my thing I would try to spend little money to bring in subscribers and work it that way instead of spending, like, say you buy Knives Out for $300 million. Yeah. Well, you're not getting a return on $300 million. You just hoping that helps the overall brand of Netflix. Well, I mean, two movies ain't gonna help it that much. You know that 2 movies ain't worth $300 million. It's not like, oh well, Knives Out 2 and 3 is out. Everyone need to subscribe to Netflix.
We're gonna go up to $250 million.
Yeah, like it's not gonna do that. It's gonna make it more. It's gonna do a little bit to help the overall thing, but not $300 million worth. You know what I mean? Like, so that's where my confusion come in. Like, I get how it works. You're not trying to get money right off in the box office returns. Right. It's about the overall brand of the streaming service. But if you spend $300 million on one property, like that's not going to help the brand that much. It's going to be, oh, they got Knives Out, cool. All right, next. You know what I'm saying? It's like when they
lasts for a weekend. It trends on the charts for one weekend, and
then it's gone. So it's like you spent $300 for a trend on a weekend. That to me, that ain't gonna cut it, bro. Like it's the same thing with Bright, and then especially like movie like Bright, the Will Smith movie that came out like maybe in 2018 or something like that. With that movie, they spent a shit ton of money, and it sucked. So not only do good movies only trend for just a small amount of time, but if the movie sucks, it's definitely gonna be forgotten. And Bright, nobody talks about it. It's like it don't even exist. You know what I'm saying? But they spent a shit ton of money. They got Will Smith to do it. They got the director from Suicide Squad, David Ayer, and all that. And for nothing. So all that money you could have gave to me. I could have tried to figure out something to do, with that money. You know what I mean?
That's kind of funny about just saying give it to you. At the end of his Ryan George's video, it's like, and because you watched this, you got your own series.
Yeah, it's like they
just send me your address and I'll send you a check.
I've never heard in the news Netflix turned down so and so and he couldn't make his movie. Or, you know what I mean? I've never heard that one. It don't matter what studio in Hollywood you gonna hear that at some point, like with Warner Brothers or Disney or Sony, Paramount.
Yeah, they turn them down. Yeah.
You're gonna hear something of like, oh man, I tried to get my movie made, but so and so turned it down.
What do you call it? What do you call them? There's like a word for it where scripts have been passed on every studio and every studio passed on it. Yeah. There's a word for it, but I can't remember.
Yeah,
what
I know
called.
what you're talking about too. And so like the thing is, it's like I've never heard that with Netflix. Like it's a green light. It's green lit. And the thing is, they gotta get better at that. They gotta get better at that because the thing is the quality of their movies be so bad that when they have a good one, it sinks.
It's so surprising.
It's surprising, and it gets drowned out with the bad movies. It blends right in. Like, you don't know. Like, you'll think, like, oh, this movie might suck because it's Netflix. And it might be the one in the million good movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they have to get more consistent to change their brand. And I understand you got to spend money to make money. For the movies to get good, you got to bring on directors like Adam McKay. You got to bring on directors like Rian Johnson for Knives Out. I get that. But you got to be able to be more consistent and budget that shit better, because you can't spend $300 million for every great director you want. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just, oh, I want Denis Villeneuve. Give him a $300 million movie. Oh, I want Spielberg. Give him a $200 million movie. I want Nolan. Give him a $400 movie. You're going to go and, like, this shit not going to work. You got to, try to draw that line and find that middle ground, in my opinion. But that being said, I've yet to hear anything of Netflix being in trouble. Netflix is in the verge of nothing.
Bankruptcy.
None of that. It's like,
I think it's hard to be like on the verge of bankruptcy if you're like pulling in like $1 billion or $2 billion a month.
Well, see,
the revenue. Right. Okay, like the thing is, they're obviously in the hole, but the revenue is off the charts.
Yeah, revenue off the charts, but it doesn't matter if you're $1 billion in debt for every little. Like, if you make $1 billion, but you're $3 billion in debt, you're still $2 billion in debt. So it'd be like, oh damn, you made $1 billion, and then it'd be the thing is, it'd be weird because it's like they bring in so much revenue, but it's like they still be having investors, like they still be owing people money. It's like, how the fuck, like, if you making all this money, you can't like put up your own money to do it, because that's why they're in debt. That's where the debt comes from. Like, they owe people money.
Yeah,
like,
they're borrowing money.
Yeah, they're borrowing money from people, and it's like, you're bringing in billions a month. You still have to borrow billions. What the? I don't get it, man. I really don't understand it. Like, some kind of way is profitable for them, but I've yet to understand their business model at all. It's crazy, man.
And what's kind of crazy is like they don't have ad revenue at all. Like, when you go on Netflix, that's it. You get to watch whatever you want, no ads.
Yeah, no ads. Yeah.
And so it's like that's like, money right
that's
there.
Money.
On loss.
Yeah, that's money. And don't get me wrong, I'm glad. I don't want no fucking ads. I'd be pissed off when they the ads on. I'm like, come on. But at the same time, from their end, it's like, damn, that's money right there. Like, that's so much money that's like on the table. Ad revenue is so much money. So it just, I don't know, man. It trips me out. Like, I'll be curious to watch a Netflix documentary on Netflix. Like, you know what I'm saying? How that shit works. You know what I mean? Because as of right now, because it's different if you're like an Amazon where they got billions of dollars just from other businesses in the company already, or like Apple that's already, you know what I'm saying? But if all your money is literally strictly based off the content that you put on
and your subscriber numbers,
then it's like it blows my mind.
Yeah, so I encourage you guys to go into the description.
Check that out.
Check out the Ryan George video. It's hilarious. A commentary on Netflix, and just check out the Screen Rant YouTube channel altogether. I do recommend you guys go to the playlist and watch the pitch meetings. They're the most hilarious things ever. And I think that's all we need to talk about as far as Netflix. Netflix is like this weird creature that doesn't have a lot of explanations going on. So I'm sure we will revisit this topic as well. It's just kind of wanted to do a deep dive on just Netflix as a company. I've heard a podcast where there was a podcast documentary where somebody gave the original like Netflix founding of like back in the day when they were a small company, they were like their employees would literally actually put the DVDs in like the envelopes and mail it out. And like they wouldn't have like a whole network. It was just people in an office with just piles of DVDs everywhere.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And that's crazy because it's like that's getting it out the mud.
And that documentary, that podcast I'm thinking about, talks about how they almost went bankrupt. Like back in then when they were small, back when before they were big. So and they almost got bought out. They wanted to be bought out by Blockbuster. They put themselves on sale to Blockbuster, and they got laughed out of the room.
Damn, and then they end up buying out, and then Blockbuster got extinct.
Yeah, and then they made Blockbuster go bankrupt because of them. So that was the biggest flub ever. Dude, Blockbuster had the chance to like buy your competition.
That's almost a movie in itself. That's almost a movie in itself, man. I love to see some shit like that. Like that's a huge success story. R.I.P. Blockbuster. I miss you,
I think they were like offering themselves for $15 million or something like that, or whatever.
Damn, man,
it was like the most steal. But yeah, that's what
I would like to see that. What if? Like, what if Blockbuster bought them? Like, would it like be different? Would the industry be any different?
Did you remember like Blockbuster did that? Blockbuster made Netflix, like made their own Netflix, where whenever like DVD by mail was popular, they were like, "Fuck it, we're adding that too." And then they tried to do that, but it didn't take off for Blockbuster.
I didn't know they ever did
They made
that.
a DVD by mail service.
Oh, that's crazy. Damn. I didn't even know that.
Which I don't even know. Does it even exist? Does DVD and Blu-ray by mail by Netflix still exist?
Nah, it don't. You can't get nothing, no DVDs delivered to you. Redbox is almost out of business. Like I don't even know if Redbox was big for a second. Like I thought Redbox would have a streaming service like Redbox streaming.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, really? It just didn't do it. It didn't take off. Yeah, but like people barely going to Redbox. You know what I'm saying? So DVDs in itself is even out.
I'm gonna put that on there. I'm gonna put like a deep dive on Redbox because I am going to research that and make that a topic of the show in the future.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. Cause I always wondered, like, I thought Redbox would take off, cause it was popular for a while.
You know what? And I'll even like do a history of Netflix, cause I'm gonna, I like having these ideas down. I jot them down for like future episodes so we can revisit that and actually give you guys like I'll read you a little oral history on Netflix, and then we'll go from there. But in the meantime, we'll go ahead and move on to Netflix and chill. So for Netflix and chill this week, surprisingly, I had gotten like okie doke basically because there's a movie that entered the charts this week, and I had no idea that it came out. I was looking forward to this movie because on a week that you missed, I had the floor hugger fill in for you, and she and I reacted to this trailer and that was coming out on Netflix, and then we were excited. It's like, oh shit, this movie looks dope. Yeah. And now I get to finally watch it. So I'll probably give you guys impressions next week. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna go ahead and pull up the actual Netflix website here, just so that way you guys. Oh, let me mute the audio here. I messed up. I am so. There we are. All right. So finally got the audio muted here. All right. So the top 10 things on Netflix. This is movies and streaming shows combined. Number 1 is Sex Education. It says insecure Otis has all the answers when it comes to sex advice thanks to his therapist mom. So Rebel Maeve proposes a school sex therapy clinic. What the fuck?
Yeah, I've heard of this before though. This season 3. See, so
it's the third season. The reason why it's number 1 is because the third season just got uploaded. Sex Education. Asa Butterfield. Damn. All right, so that's number 1. And then number 2 is Squid Game. Never heard of this. Hundreds of cash-strapped players accept a strange invitation to compete in children's games. Oh, I heard of this. Inside, tempting prize awaits with deadly stakes. So this is a series, and it's kind of crazy is because they're all playing these like kiddie games, but they all die. So how do I put this? I guess
Did they know they was gonna die?
They did not know. They were say come play this game, and then there's a cash prize if you win. But they don't know is that they're signing up for this game where if you lose, you die.
Damn, that's crazy.
So there was a scene. I saw the trailer for this. And I guess maybe this is gonna be it right here. But the trailer has like them doing this thing where they need to run to the other side, and they can't be spotted, they can't be seen, and if they get seen, they die.
Damn.
And so like this is intense, and I'm gonna let this play out here. But if you move, you can't be, you can't be moving. You know, you gotta stay still. So whenever it turns and sees you, you need to be standing still, like red light, green light kind of shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just thought that this was interesting and stuff like that. But it's a Korean show, so it's subtitles and stuff like that. A lot of Netflix stuff, a lot of things that are trending on Netflix tend to be foreign stuff as well. Number 3 is Safe House, the Denzel Washington, Ryan Reynolds movie from back in the day.
Yeah.
Number 4 is Clickbait. Number 5 is Lucifer. Number 6 is Kate, which I think I'll be giving you guys impressions soon because I was highly recommended to watch this movie. Number 7 is The Father Who Moves Mountains. Let's see. When his son goes missing during a snowy hike in the mountains, a retired intelligence officer will stop at nothing and risk everything to find him. So it's a Romanian movie. So again, another foreign movie here. By the way, just for a quick side thing, that guy kind of almost looked like Nicolas Cage there for a second there.
Yeah, he did.
Number 8 is Coco Melon. Number 9 is The Circle, a social media competition. And number 10 is Night Books. And that is the one that I was talking about. This is the trailer that I was like interested in. It's like it says scary story fan. Actually, you know what? I'll read you guys the synopsis later. But anyways, that's the Netflix.
That looks interesting though.
Yes, it does. And we'll get into that here in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and just skip on to the movies here. The top 10 movies on Netflix. Number 1 is Safe House.
Did I say Green Lantern?
Oh yeah, it's on the featured column. Number 1 is Safe House. Number 2 is Kate, The Father Who Moves Mountains. Number 3 and number 4 is Night Books, carrying over from the last chart. Number 5 is the Jennifer Lopez movie, An Unfinished Life. Number 6 is The Stronghold. Number 7 is Vivo. Number 8, Birth of the Dragon, which is a Bruce Lee it's a young Bruce Lee angers kung fu traditionalists by teaching outsiders, leading to a showdown with the Shaolin master in this film based on real events. So
Damn.
It's an actor playing Bruce Lee in a biopic.
Oh shit.
And look at this shit. Like, okay, this scene right here is intense as fuck. Because he's like doing the Bruce Lee thing right here. Watch. Oh my god. Scratch.
Damn, that's clean.
So yeah, basically it's like, I don't know, I guess they're just doing like an Ip Man style like biopic kind of thing. So yeah, Bruce Lee is.
I believe it was some controversy around this movie or some shit about like his wife or something. I don't remember. It was some kind of controversy behind this movie. I heard about this came out
back in 2017.
Yeah. I remember hearing there was controversy about this movie.
So yeah, I would like to check this movie out because
hell yeah, like Bruce Lee. What the fuck?
That guy looks like Bruce Lee too, by the way.
It looks exactly like.
Number 9 is Fire Drake, the Silver Dragon, and number 10 is the Jack Black movie, School of Rock.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's so. Anything you wanted to say about the top 10 things on Netflix on either charts?
Well, that movie you're talking about must be solid because it's on the top 5 of both. I mean, top 10 of both. You know, the whatever that
Night Books.
Night Books, yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna skip to the new releases here because I should have read it in new releases last week here, and honestly, that would have been my pick of the week last week had I known it. And here's the thing, it released on Wednesday, which is why I didn't catch it. Here's the thing, when I look at the new releases on Netflix, when I look at the calendar on the websites that I go to compile these lists, Netflix usually releases movies on Fridays. And so they always come out on Fridays. And so I only look exclusively on Friday on the calendar. So that's how I missed it. Because they released it on Wednesday. Yeah, okay. So Night Books came out last Wednesday on September 15th on Netflix. Scary story fan Alex must tell a spine-tingling tale every night or stay trapped with his new friend in a wicked witch's magical apartment forever. So the film stars Winslow Fegley, Lydia Jewett, and Kristen Ritter. Kristen Ritter is Jessica Jones, among other roles that she's played. But Kristen Ritter is the witch. And so basically, Alex is like a little kid. She's stuck in this apartment, and he can't escape. And the witch was going to kill him, but because apparently he's a writer, he likes to write scary stories. The witch is like, all right, I'll let you live, but you got to tell me a scary story every night.
That's
and so
interesting.
it's like this really weird like high fantasy kind of thing. It looks very well shot and some cool ass special effects going on. I'm interested. I want to watch.
That's interesting. I ain't gonna lie.
So yeah, that's Night Books, and let's go ahead and move on to the next charts here. The top 10 on iTunes. Black Widow rose to number 1. There you go. I think it's because it probably entered its rental window or something. Yeah. Number 2 is the F9, the Fast Saga. Number 3 is the Suicide Squad.
Well, it's good. Suicide Squad gets some kind of love. Shit.
Some kind of money. Number 4 is the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Number 5 is Prisoners of the Ghostland, that Nick Cage movie. Number 6 is Lansky. Which is like, I gotta figure out, like, we've done check this out / new releases on Lansky, didn't we?
I don't remember.
I want to say we did, but let me see. Oops, wrong website. There we go. All right. So Lansky is when an aging Meyer Lansky is investigated one last time by the feds who suspect he stashed away millions of dollars over half a century. The retired gangster spins a dizzying tale, revealing the untold truth about the life of a notorious boss of Murder Inc. and the National Crime Syndicate. Something about this sounds familiar, but anyways, next up is number 7, Venom, which is the Venom one because of Tom Hardy. Other people are getting ready to watch Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Number 8 is Jungle Cruise. Number 9 is a movie from back in 1993, a Western called Tombstone, starring Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer.
Oh, okay. Never heard of it.
Number 10 is Bestsellers, which I talked about on new releases last week about the Michael Caine movie in Audrey Plaza.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So yeah, that's the top 10 things on iTunes. There's anything you wanted to say about this?
Nah, it's good to see that, Suicide Squad getting some love because they ass broke.
Surprisingly, it didn't debut at number 1, by the way.
Yeah, that is a surprise.
Like the F9 and Black Widow are making more money still. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's surprising.
But yeah, next up is the top 10 things on Amazon Prime. Number 1 is Candyman.
Hey, I'm like Candyman. Getting some love.
At number 1. Number 2 is Don't Breathe 2. Number 3 is The Suicide Squad, the 4K version.
Shit, Suicide Squad love being at that 3 spot, huh? Like, shit, move up. Shit. That's something.
And number 3 on both charts at that. And both number 1 and 2 are different on both charts too.
So it's like this number 3 regardless. It don't matter. It's gonna be number 3.
Number 4 is Jungle Cruise. Number 5 is Stillwater.
That's dope. Stillwater is getting love every week, and it's like it didn't get no love. That's why I'm like surprised because it haven't been getting love. And Stillwater isn't gonna be an Oscar contender, but it was good to not get no love. The star Matt Damon as well. Like, come on, bro. So it's good that I'm liking that it's up on some charts.
Number 6 is A Quiet Place Part 2. Number 7 is Respect. Number 8 is Black Widow. And number 9 is again The Suicide Squad.
How's it? Oh,
the HD version.
Oh, okay.
So number 3 is the 4K version, and number 9 is the HD 1080p version.
That's that bullshit. Just give it 4K and let it be the only version. Don't play games, man. Like, the best version, put it out. Like, it don't matter. We're like, do we need you can get this one for cheap and get the, no, make it 4K, let it be the only version. Like, we don't got a 4K Stillwater version. We don't got a 4K Jungle Cruise version.
So, all of these are the 4K versions. All of them. So I didn't put it down because the only reason why is because when you buy a movie on Amazon Prime, you can toggle which one you want. Did you want to buy the 4K version or do you want to buy the HD version?
But then they charge you more for it?
I think they charge you the same, to tell you the truth.
So then
And so what happens is like a lot of people, when they bought the movie, Suicide Squad made so much money on the 4K version, it made it to number 3, and they made enough money to make it to number 9 on the HD version.
See, that's confusing because if it's 4K is free, then why won't everybody just get 4K and it only be a 4K? Who gonna say like, nah, I don't want the 4K. Let me get that HD version. Like,
if you have a 1080p TV,
Oh, good point.
Like a lot of people don't have like even think about 4K TVs in the living room.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah.
So if your TV is not 4K, then just
good point.
Toggle. If it's the same price, it doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, good point.
And number 10 is The Green Knight. Now, let me tell you this right now. Oh, actually, do you want to just comment about the Prime charts or just?
Nah, I ain't got nothing to say.
All right. So, plus we set our PC as we said it as we were going over the chart. Anyways, actually, let me delete that here. That was from previous week. All right. So my recommendation. Now, honestly, let me tell you this, Troy. I've been recommending stuff on all the streaming platforms. I recommended something on HBO Max. I recommended stuff on Amazon Prime, on Netflix. Like I've been like, I've even recommended something on Hulu. You know what I mean? Like I recommended stuff, and one of the things I never recommended on a streaming service is Disney Plus.
Oh yeah,
I've never said
you don't really fuck with Disney
never,
Plus like that.
You know, like that's the thing. Like when it comes to recommendations, I always say, look at this. I say, look at this deep cut from back in the day. This movie, you can find it right now on Netflix right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't ever say, let me get you this deep cut from back in the day. You can find it on Disney Plus.
Yeah. You don't fuck with Disney like that. You like, hey,
which is kind of fucked up because the thing about it is Disney Plus has their entire back catalog for you to watch.
They got all kind of shit. You act like Disney Plus like Paramount.
Yeah.
You treat Disney Plus like they Peacock. Like they ain't got shit.
So I decided to go to Disney Plus and look at their back catalog and see, what do I want to recommend? Because I want to share some love to Disney Plus. So I decided to recommend an old movie from the 90s starring Robin Williams. Now let me tell you this. This movie does not age well. This movie is fucked up. And like
what is it, Hook?
Like it's like Robin Williams' character is not like his character is the only reason why you like him is because he's Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Not because
he's likable.
Not because he's likable. Because if you think about his actions and what he's done and the fraud he commits, he's
fucked
not a
up.
good character.
Yeah.
He is not a good character, and Robin Williams makes him sympathetic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I decided to recommend to you guys Mrs. Doubtfire, starring Robin Williams and Pierce Brosnan and Sally Field, and also the little girl from Matilda before she was Matilda, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Mrs. Doubtfire is on Disney Plus right now. You can watch it, and it's basically about a man who really likes his kids. He's Sally Field and Robin Williams are getting a divorce or got a divorce, and Sally Field got sole custody of the kids. And in order to spend more time with them, Robin Williams dresses up as a nanny, like a British nanny, and calls himself Mrs. Doubtfire, and they starts taking care of his kids.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of weird.
It is weird. Yeah, like I said, I've seen many YouTube videos where it's like, dude, like look at this thing, like look at this restaurant scene. This is fucked up and all that stuff like that. And like
it's super weird.
Yeah.
Man. It's like, but it just goes to show you the charisma that Robin Williams had, because you couldn't get away with a lot of the shit he doing in that.
Well, the 90s was a different time. You know what I mean? Like people weren't so woke. You know what I mean?
It wasn't. You wasn't in cancel culture.
Yeah, cancel culture. Yeah. So like this stuff now would not fly.
No.
But you know
hell
what?
no.
But you know what though? I'm gonna tell you this right now. About 2 years ago, I was in a doctor's office and they were playing Mrs. Doubtfire in the lobby.
Oh yeah.
I watched the movie. I liked the movie still. It's like me personally, I still liked it and found it enjoyable.
Yeah.
But I know it's fucked up. But I liked it.
but see, I like that though. I like how, because like that's reality. Shit be fucked up. Like sometimes everything don't need to be peaches and cream. You know what I mean? So I miss those days when
And the ending was perfect, by the way.
Yeah.
The ending was very perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's definitely a good classic, legendary movie, and that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good pick. So I hope you're not gonna be able to one up that. So
I'm not gonna one up it because I don't have a pick to. I couldn't one up it anyway.
You couldn't one up it anyways. You had something.
I don't have a pick this week. I didn't watch anything this weekend. No. So yeah.
No, like I said, I like this segment because I like to recommend something.
It's my favorite segment of the. Believe it or not, is it my favorite? If it's not my favorite, it's my second favorite.
I like to recommend like deep cuts of like something that people that are younger. May not have grown up with it.
It's my favorite because we get to talk about what we love, and we don't got to talk about what's relevant now.
Right,
we talk
exactly.
about what we
exactly.
what you call it. Because I'm tripping though. Like,
oh
wait, never mind. I was gonna say something because that's on your sharing the love. I ain't gonna reveal that. We never do get to every week.
We're getting to this week, by the way.
Okay.
We're gonna do it this week. We're gonna get sharing the love. We got new releases and then sharing the love. So let's go ahead and get to the new releases.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
All right. So for new releases this week, we are talking about 4 things that are coming out. Now, to tell you the truth, I honestly thought there were only 3 things on new releases because I almost forgot to check one of my sources when compiling the list.
Yeah.
I'm glad I remembered to check it because I thought this was going to be a weak-ass week for new releases.
For real?
For real. So, 4 things. Number 1, Dear Evan Hansen, which is a drama movie. It's like an adaptation of a play.
Yeah.
Have you seen the trailer for Dear Evan Hansen? Okay, so basically it's about a teenager who writes a letter to himself, and his name is Evan Hansen, so he writes Dear Evan Hansen, and he writes like a letter about how he's trying to encourage himself. And so what ends up happening is this guy, he takes this letter and from him, as whatever, he snags it from him, and then he reads it, I guess, and he was going to commit suicide anyways, so he goes through with it, commits suicide, and because he had the letter on his body, his parents thought that letter was for him. And he thought that he was
I did see that.
He's his only friend.
What the fuck did I see? I did see this.
Trailer,
like and he feels like guilty.
Yeah.
I did see that. Yeah.
That's exactly right.
That seemed interesting. And it had the trailer had all this music.
It's a musical, yeah.
Yeah, that seemed interesting.
So yeah, he's guilty because he can't tell his parents that. No, I wrote that letter.
Right. Because it's almost like is he damned if he do and damned if he don't. In a lose-lose situation.
Yeah. Evan Hansen is an anxious, isolated high school student who's aching for understanding and belonging amid the chaos and cruelty of the social media age. He soon embarks on a journey of self-discovery when a letter he wrote for a writing exercise falls into the hands of a grieving couple whose son took his own life. The film stars Ben Platt, Amy Adams, Julianne Moore, Caitlin Dever, Amandla Stenberg, Nick Dodani, and Danny Pino. So yeah, I know who Amy Adams is. I know who Julianne Moore is, and also Danny Pino was he was in the first what's that? Escape Room. The Escape Room.
Oh yeah, I never watched it.
So you didn't watch the Escape Room? Okay, all right. So yeah, and also Ben Platt, I believe he's reprising his role because he played the character on Broadway a couple years ago. So he's much older than he does not look like a high school student at times, but they try to make him look like a high school student. So whatever. So yeah, it looks like I'm gonna pass this one. I mean, it looks like a cool drama or whatever. The trailers look good, but it's a musical, and I don't know. I'm not really. What do you know? What do you think about this?
I don't know. I guess we could talk about after the fact. We give our number one.
All right. Well, the pick of the week is obvious. By the way, it's number 4. Number 2, Zero Contact. We talked about it on Check This Out last week. It's gonna be coming out this Friday on Viewell. I'm assuming that's the correct name. 5 people must work together to shut down a tech titan's most secret invention, a machine that is either the solution to mankind's problem or the end of life on Earth.
Man, we live in a world where shit be coming out on all kind of stuff. We don't know what the fuck, Buell, Dodo, or what is all this stuff coming from? Like what the fuck? Like, if I wanted to watch that, I wouldn't even know what that is to even watch this. Like,
the film stars Anthony Hopkins, Chris Brochu, Veronica Ferris, Alex Ponovic, and Lily Krug. The film was shot in 17 countries. It was filmed entirely virtually via Zoom, and during the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic.
We seen the
trailer last week.
Yeah, we seen the trailer.
We saw the trailer last week. Yeah. The film will be released as an NFT, which is a non-fungible token for the layman people.
Oh, that's cool. That make you want to support it. Right?
Via CurrencyWorks Inc.'s platform Viewell, and it's the first feature film to release on Viewell.
Oh, that's why we never heard of it.
Yeah. So if people, when you want to buy an NFT, like an NFT of a picture or something like that.
Yeah.
So apparently this movie is an NFT.
Okay. Well,
so
apparently now.
Apparently,
it's the first one.
Yeah. So you can watch it there and buy it there. I don't really care for it. I wasn't really impressed by the trailer. The only thing that's impressive about the movie is that it's Anthony Hopkins. Yeah. And yeah. So next up is The Starling, which is out on Netflix this Friday.
The next one gonna be the pig.
You saw it. God damn it! You shouldn't have. I did not want you to see it. I did not want you to see it.
Oh shit!
I was trying to hide it.
You went down a little too low.
I tried to hide it from him because I was like, I wanted you to guess what it was. There was no way you were gonna guess it. Right? You were not gonna guess it. That's right. Number 3, The Starling, out on Netflix this Friday on September 24th. After Lily suffers a loss, a combative starling takes nest beside her quiet home. The feisty bird taunts and attacks the grief-stricken Lily. On her journey to expel the starling, she rediscovers her will to live and capacity for love. The film stars Melissa McCarthy, Chris O'Dowd, Kevin Kline, Timothy Oliphant, Loretta Devine, and Jimmy O. Yang. That is a cast.
That's a cast.
Yeah, so as far as like it's a drama and it's not Melissa McCarthy doing a comedy, so she's flexing and I don't really care.
Yeah, I don't care either.
Next one up is Star Wars Visions.
Woo!
Yeah.
Let's eat.
It's coming out tomorrow on Wednesday, September 22nd on Disney
Hey,
Plus.
but so wait, I'm trying to get this so does Disney Plus is it soon as like midnight hit the drop, or is it like it come out during the day or some shit?
It's 2 a.m. for us. It's midnight West Coast time.
Oh, so for us 2 a.m.
It's 2 a.m., 3 a.m. for East Coast.
Bro, they get that shit
So-
earlier, man.
So like when tomorrow night is gonna, if we stay up past midnight till 2,
you can see
you'll
it.
watch it. Yeah,
Okay.
it'll be there at 2 a.m.
Bet.
But on Wednesday, on September 22nd, you can watch Star Wars Visions. Star Wars Visions is a collection of animated short films presented through the lens of the world's best anime creators that offers a new, diverse perspective on Star Wars. The series will consist of 9 episodes with various animation studios working on the project, and there's no consistent voice cast, so I couldn't say the show stars those.
Yeah.
So I just kind of
don't
put that
matter.
out there. And also a public service announcement. I found out that the Al Pacino movie, American Traitor, The Trial of Axis Sally, is on Amazon Prime right now. You can watch it if you have Prime. Other indie movies are releasing in limited release this week called I'm Your Man, Surge, and Apache Junction, which is a Western. I didn't really care to feature them in the new releases. I'm just sort of putting it out there. I'm pretty sure a bunch of these are probably straight to home video kind of thing, or straight to iTunes. So yeah, obviously pick of the week is Star Wars Visions.
Yeah, that's
honestly,
not it.
if I'd have forgotten about Star Wars Visions, I would have been pissed at myself. Number 1, but also number 2, I would have been pissed. It's like, damn, I guess dear Evan Hansen is the pick of the week.
It's such a big gap. It's like we went from Star Wars Visions to number 2. Damn, dear. Yeah, Star Wars Visions is clearly the pick of the week. I've been waiting on this for a year now, at least. Well, however long it's been since I first heard about
May,
it.
I think, when they first put the trailer out.
Yeah, and I heard about it way before the trailer. Yeah, I heard about it when Disney did their whole little Star Wars event thing.
That was back in May, I want to say. Because when Kevin Feige was presenting all these other stuff, and then they threw it over to Kathleen
Oh,
Kennedy.
May of 2020?
May of this year, wasn't it? Or no?
Nah, that was way before that.
Oh,
Because I knew about this. I knew about this since last year.
Oh shit.
Because they announced so many. It's when they it was Kathleen Kennedy, and she was announcing all the Star Wars stuff. So it was like Visions. That's the one I was, of course, I'm excited
There
about.
was
The cast in. They announced all these the different shows they got coming out or whatever, and they announced the movies, the Star Wars what's the Rogue Squadron movie and all that. So this was one of them.
Okay.
But yeah,
Star Wars Visions, man. Episode 1's gonna be out, man.
This is one of the best ideas Disney has done with Star Wars since they got Star Wars. Since Disney got Star Wars, this has been their best idea so far.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be watching What If and Star Wars Visions on Wednesday morning on that now. So I usually wake up to watch What If. So now I gotta wake up extra early.
Yeah.
We'll have impressions for you guys on that next week. And as far as the final segment to bring it home, it's my turn to do Sharing the Love. So Sharing the Love is a segment that we hardly ever do because of time.
And I know y'all probably don't even remember this segment, but it's still here.
Yeah, so the segment, I like to try to pull it off because I like to sort of do a segment where we talk about a movie from yesteryear, and we just sort of talk about our memories with it and just sort of just gush over the movie and how much it means to you personally. To tell you the truth, we're not limited to. I don't. When it comes to Netflix and chill, I always want to talk about a movie that is on a streaming service right then and there. This one, I don't even know if it's on a streaming service at all. I wouldn't be surprised if it was on Netflix, but
I don't think so.
I don't think it is. My pick for Sharing the Love is Pokemon: The First Movie. This movie defines like my childhood, and so does
Yeah,
like a
it
lot.
does, yeah.
The Pokemon anime, Ash Ketchum, you want to be the very best, like no one ever
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
It was. It's like I think up until this past December, or actually past January, whenever. Damn, what's that anime? That movie that came out this year?
The biggest hit.
yeah.
Damn, I forgot the name of it, but
Fuck.
it's like the biggest anime
Dragon.
hit.
Wait, Train.
No, what the fuck?
Fuck. Oh my god, I can't. Now I can't even.
What the name of it was? Like it was the biggest hit ever though. Like, and it was weird because it came out of nowhere too. Like it just became a hit. Like, why you
Yeah.
looking on Netflix?
Because it's on Netflix right now.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, wait, I can't.
So it went from being the biggest hit to being on Netflix.
No, the show. The show is on the actual anime show that it's based
Oh,
off
not
of.
the movie, the
Yeah,
show.
the show.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
I can't, man. I swear.
Called- Don't it start with a D? Like,
I wish it was on my list, but I can't. I wish I could find like continue watching very easily. Continue, but anyways, fuck. All right. Well, anyways, you guys know what I'm talking about.
just Googled the #1 box office anime
Number
movie. Yeah.
one box office anime movie. It is called Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer.
Fuck.
I want to start with a D. Like,
I was trained. Mugen Train is the movie, but yeah, I was trying to like train. Yeah, Demon Slayer is up until Demon Slayer came out. Pokemon, the first movie, was the highest grossing anime movie, like #1 opening box office weekend.
Oh, weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow,
so like for the
wow,
top opening
wow.
weekend, and so it's nice to hold that title for like a long time. It did, but
It did.
I just gotta say, man, like the movie was just like it was like for me as a kid, it was perfect, and even as an adult, when I think about it, the movie holds up.
It holds up. Absolutely.
It was so like there's so much pathos when it comes to like the movies about like the bond between the Pokemon trainer and the Pokemon.
Yep,
About how
yep,
like it's like the friendship. You don't take that shit for granted, and Mewtwo had to see the error of his ways. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Because when you think about like this character, how damaged he was because he's a science experiment. He had no one to like care for him. And also like there's like this like remake where they gave him a backstory where he befriended a little girl and the little girl dies and stuff like that because she had like cancer or something like that, and you can see how Mewtwo just sort of like just
Yeah.
But they don't really go into that in this movie. They did it in the later remake, but it's so good that like you just sort of see like a lot of dimension when it comes to like Mewtwo being so powerful, and he's like, man, fuck y'all Pokemon. I cloned them and I made them better.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I mean, it was so fucking like, and I love how Mewtwo like was a Pokemon. I mean, of course he wasn't a natural breed, but I like he was a Pokemon, but he was also the villain.
Yeah.
That shit was badass. Like he a Pokemon villain. Like
Yeah.
that shit was dope, man. And
He-
like.
I want to give a shout out to that scene where he just does his thing,
And then the storm
starts
starts to storm.
That is the coldest fucking thing. Like he just like
I mean, it was
Like,
so
does it, like-
what was so dope about it. What held up the most for me is like when you watch the movie, you wonder like how they gonna take this dude out. Like
Yeah.
like you don't. And I loved the way they is no taking him out.
Yeah.
You just had to change his heart.
Yeah.
But other than that, y'all are fucked. Like if you didn't change his heart, if what happened didn't occur and you changed your heart, y'all are fucked. And like that, it just built for that. Like it just built for an incredible moment.
yeah.
You know?
It was all like perfectly building onto itself, and there's this like moment where you see the Pokemon just sort of like tired and hitting each other, like
Yeah.
And then Pikachu doesn't want to fight anymore. He's like, and the other clone Pikachu just slapping
Slapping
him,
the shit
and he's
out
like,
of him.
like just like taking it, like that sad look on his face, and
Yeah.
everyone is like, there's these cold ass moments and stuff like that, and there's even like some funny ass moments where Charizard, he's like getting like dissed.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
like
yeah,
when
yeah.
Charizard threw a flamethrower at Mewtwo, and he like throws a ball,
Listen,
and he's like,
that
and
ain't
he's like,
gonna,
your Mewtwo is weak, and he's like, fuck you.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie though. That was still my favorite because Charizard growing up was always my favorite Pokemon, and that's to this day my favorite moment in the whole movie. Like Charizard finally comes, the first thing he does is fuck this. I'm going for Mewtwo. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't matter that he couldn't fuck with her. It's just to be that badass. It's like Batman saying, "I want you, Superman," knowing you can't fuck with him. Like it was just so dope, man. Like you know how Charizard never listened.
And because Charizard never listened, he doesn't have any like he's not leveled up or whatever.
Yeah.
And so he's like underpowered, and he's
Yeah.
like he's still got so much ego, like Vegeta.
Yeah.
He don't give a fuck. He'll fight you still.
He reminded me of Vegeta. Just such a bad motherfucker, man. It was. I love that movie, man. Great movie.
This movie is so much.
I even loved the beginning when he battled at the beginning. Like it was so good.
They made Ash look like a badass for a hot second there.
Yeah, they had Ash like Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah.
You know how Yu-Gi never loses?
Yeah.
Like that's some like Yu-Gi-Oh shit.
And
like,
he was like, oh, and it's like the first part of the lesson of the movie. He's like, oh, it's about friendship, because he sort of like brings that out. It brings full circle from the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And then shout out to that Dragon Knight, because the best thing they ever done with Dragon Knight is make him a delivery guy, like a Postmates.
Yeah, Postmates. Yeah.
He's like, here's a letter, like what the?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, an invitation. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
that shit was dope, man. And the storm being so like the thing with the storm is like it made everyone that arrived there deserve to be there because they had to go through the storm to get there.
It's so fucked up because I'm pretty sure they didn't make it. They didn't show it in the movie, but trainers had to have died to get there.
Yeah, certain trainers didn't make it. Yeah.
So,
of course, they're not gonna show that, but yeah, it was certain trainers that didn't make it.
Yeah, they're not at that dining hall.
Yeah, so like for them to like the trainers that was there, y'all some bad motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, great movie. It's my childhood. Like like it's nostalgic.
Let me ask you this, and the movie never made it clear. Like, and there's only one more moment I want to talk about, and I'm gonna hold off on that one. But there's the movie to me never made it clear who would win in a fight, Mew or Mewtwo. So because they made it seem like they were evenly matched. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it almost made it seem like Mew was holding back because he's giggling and like laughing the fight.
I always felt like Mewtwo was stronger because if you look at the theme of how the movies was like, it was like the clone versions all were stronger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I felt like on a bigger scale, you know, I felt like if they had to go head to head, I felt like Mewtwo was gonna be the stronger one.
He was holding his own, you know.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. But I think Mew ain't no pushover though. You know what I'm saying? Mew was Mew. You know what I mean? But I think like if they were to go head to head in an end all death battle, I think Mewtwo would win.
All right. So the last moment I want to talk about, and this is what I really want to talk about when it comes to sharing the love. You know what, man? It's spoilers. It's a movie from the 90s. You know what I mean?
Oh, who gives a fuck?
You
You
know
ain't saying it from the 90s.
You know, so I just got to say that even as an adult, when I watch just that one scene where Pikachu is crying,
oh yeah,
it makes me cry.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
I get weak and I'm like, you know what I mean? Like even just the picture, like the meme, the meme of just Pikachu with the little like tears on his corner of his eyes.
And he's Pikachu.
Just, that was the hard. That goes hard when he's trying to shock him to come back to life.
Yeah, it's
that
like
was
you,
like the hardest.
That part right there makes me sad even more than him crying because you just hear him putting everything into it, like he wants him to come back so bad, and it's like he's a statue, one shit he could do, you know. So it was definitely a touching moment, no question.
Shoot, I'm getting a little flare up right now, just thinking about it.
Yeah, it was a touching moment for
Yeah,
sure.
so-
Great movie, man.
Yeah.
It was a great movie.
So yeah, man, that was sharing the love, man. I think we need to do this segment more often, but we always run out of time, and I'm glad that there was a slow news week that allowed us to like, you know, dive deep and talk about some stuff. So
Yep, absolutely.
all right, Troy, the next time we do sharing the love, it will be your turn. I will not guarantee that we will do it next week. Just think of something. So,
Okay,
for sharing the love.
That's easy.
So just have it. Just have it. Okay.
I had that. That's easy.
All right, we'll go ahead and end the show.
And
There we go. It's time to end. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Ready Press. Why did I say Ready Press Play? It's not the games. It's Ready Play Movies. Remember, you can reach the podcast by email, readyplaymovies@gmail.com, or simply at Ready Play Movies on Twitter. I'm on Twitter at Chakalaka88 and Troy.
Bracy Troy 58.
Don't forget to subscribe, give us a review, tell your friends about the show, and all the good stuff. See you next time.